Alright, let's get started. Welcome back, folks. Dick the Panda with some tennessees. Yes, this may be the same update, but this time it's from the Keisuke perspective. You might be able to hear the audio in the background too because I forgot to put my headphones on. I knew I was missing something. Hopefully you cannot hear it, but this will take a split sec. But yes, last time we did the Shoichi update, but this time we are going on to our good old boy, Keisuke. Yeah, anyway, let me just switch over the settings. Nice and smooth. All right. So, yeah, honestly, I don't have much else to say other than today is the big finale for Yuichi, or Nico for us, and Keisuke. They are facing off against each other in the semifinals. The winner will go on to face Tanabe. Or, well, it's implied because Tanabe still has to play in the semifinals, but, you know, he probably is going to kick whoever he's playing's ass. Alright. I'm also going to check on something quickly. For some reason, there's an issue with one of my audio tracks. Alright. Let me just open up the menu. It's been a while since the last update. Keisuke update, March 15th. I think I probably just moved over everything at the time, and I don't think I've played Keisuke on this desktop ever, so kind of funky, kind of strange. But oh well. I think I might know why. Did a little finagling the other day, and I was messing around with the audio channels, and one of them was not checked at all. It was on 0 channels. But that's okay. We're gonna get into it in a second. Once I timestamp it, we're gonna go in exactly at 10 minutes and see where we're gonna take things. It's gonna be weird from the perspective of being Keisuke's boyfriend, because, yeah, either way, if somebody loses, somebody's gonna be salty. Yeah. But yeah, have a good night, Bluefang. Sorry I didn't see your message earlier. And hi, Pirate Deer. Alright, here we go, we move that over. And whew, let's get ourselves all unraveled for this. Nice and loose, ready. Here we go, 7 seconds. Are y'all ready for the finale? Or the semifinals, technically? Here we go. The day is today. Here we go, the big day. Uh-oh. There we go. Slowly but surely, sleep finally overtakes me. Having woken up a bit earlier than I expected, I tossed and turned in the futon for a few minutes before finally setting my groggy ass up on the bed. I really am Nico in a sense. Anyway, the first thing I noticed then was that Keisuke was nowhere to be found. Talk about deja vu. Didn't this happen just yesterday too? Wondering if something had happened, I got myself dressed and went downstairs to the hotel lobby to look for him. However, he was nowhere to be found.
Oh, good morning, Nico-kun. I see you're up bright and early.
Seems like it. Am I the first?
Nah, Keisuke-kun went for a jog some 20 minutes ago, some such. I'm sure he'll be back soon.
Not foreshadowing at all. I don't know, maybe in this route it's different. Looks like he got even more nervous energy than I expected. He was out like a log yesterday, so I thought the worst of his anxiety was over. Maybe I underestimated it.
Breakfast won't be served for a while.
Yeah, I know. I didn't exactly plan on waking up this early, so there isn't much I can do. If anything, it's a bit concerning that I couldn't have a decent night's sleep for 2 days on a row. During a competition of all times. God, I hate when that happened. Back in the day when I played sports. And it's not like I could blame insomnia. I managed to fall asleep just fine, but seemed to be struggling to stay down. And unlike yesterday, I can't say that a nightmare woke me up. I don't even remember if I dreamt at all. Is Saya up yet? Or, no, Saya's not up, apparently. Is Saya not up yet?
Nope, at least not that I can tell.
What are you even doing? It was only after I walked closer and took a seat that I realized the crocodile was waffling through some sheets of paper, examining them in a way that made them seem really important.
My notes.
Notes?
On you guys. Problems I've observed. Things I think you need to work on. Ideas for changes in training regimen. Observations. That kind of thing.
Oh, That's very coachly of you. The crocodile frowns, putting down his papers and looking at me in bewilderment.
I am a coach, you know.
Coulda fooled me. What do those notes of yours say about me?
Nothing you don't know already.
Seriously?
You haven't exactly struggled, you know. If I don't see you push to your limits, I can't take notes on what you really need to improve on.
That sounds suspect.
Believe whatever you want to believe.
The crocodile chortles, shaking his head and getting back to his papers. If what he says about needing to see us push to our limits to give proper feedback is true, wouldn't that mean that Sai and I basically can't get any? I mean, sure, Tanabe exists, but at least in Sai's case, she never really struggles against anyone. Why does it all sound more like an excuse than anything?
Nervous?
Nope.
Yeah, sure.
That sounds like self-sabotage if you ask me. Even if I were, what makes you think I'd tell you? I'm just fine, thank you.
Alright, at least I tried.
The crocodile fell silent once more, continuing to review his papers, only taking breaks every so often to write something down before going back to reading them. Is each one of those pages about a different player? There's no way. There's more than 10. There weren't that many of us here. Still, not having anything else to do, I sit around twiddling my thumbs and waiting for either Saya-chan or Keisuke to show up so I have someone else to talk to. Thankfully, I at least have my phone to distract me until then. Alright, let's wait. Pulling out my phone right now. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's wasting time on my phone. Call it a special talent. Several minutes pass by while I do nothing of note other than reading up on an article or another about tennis-related news. At one point, I began feeling somewhat restless, wondering if Sai or Keisuke would show up at all when I finally hear footsteps coming down the stairs. Oh, wondering if Sai or Keisuke will show up at all when I finally hear footsteps coming down the stairs. Ah, I see what you did there. Clever, clever game. Morning.
That's a fairly dour greeting from you. Everything okay, Satan?
Oh yeah, because every time she says, os. This is very dour. Holy shit, things are this is the end of the world. This is terrible. Yeah, thinking of stuff.
Like what?
It's nothing.
Huh.
The crocodile regards her with interest, watching Saya plop down on the couch next to me before his mouth curves up in a smile.
Well, whatever's going through your pretty little head right now, I'm sure you'll be over it before your match, right?
Yeah. Really? That's it? Saya's pretty much a zombie right now, and that's all you have to say about it? You sure you're feeling okay? I waved my hand in front of her eyes, causing the bunny to sigh and push it away. Stop that. I'm fine. I'm allowed to get down sometimes. It's not sometimes if it's a daily thing. Yeah, well, I'm not going to get as bad as I did yesterday, so you don't need to worry about it. Who says I'm worrying? Fine. I won't prod if you don't want me to. But can you at least straighten yourself up a bit? As comfortable as I'm sure that must be. My legs are footrests. Ugh. Those truly are the words of someone that's doing completely fine. Wait. Where's K-kun? Don't know. Out somewhere. Seems he went for a jog. Huh. He was really nervous yesterday too. Do you think it's that again? Who knows? It's not like he told me anything. Honestly, he could have at least left me a text or something. Competition weeks really are a vicious cycle of stress and relief, huh? Yeah, they really are. Honestly, remember when I was like, before matches or tournaments, just had to get in my freaking zone, had to be on my own before I went into the gym for our warm-ups and stuff. It was, yeah, had to really keep calm. If anything, I'm more stressed out about those two than I am about myself. Oh, these two, actually. These goofballs.
Well, since I have you two here right now, I might as well take the opportunity to say something.
Coach stands up, clearing his throat and looking down at us with a smile.
I wanted to say, while I know this ain't the last competition you'll be taking part in this year, I really am proud of you two. It's been a great honor to be your coach for these past 3 years. I know there have been challenges, but I hope that these 3 years can be a time for you to look back fondly on, and that you'll eventually be able to treasure these memories you made. After all, high school is one of the most fleeting times of your lives. Compared to this, adulthood goes on forever.
Aw, how sweet. Oh man, it is true though. God, my high school times flew the hell by. And now, I'm an old boy. A big old adult. The moment I realize where this is going, I immediately check out. I've never been one for this kind of sentimentality, especially coming from someone I barely even like. But somehow, when I look to my side, I see Asaya seemingly on the verge of tears. Oh no! I totally knew this is what it was gonna be. The whole thing is so bizarre to me that I spend the entire time watching her wide-eyed stare instead of really listening.
I know it's a little sudden, but I've been thinking a lot about this. Things will get quite hectic for the remainder of the year, and we might not have as many opportunities to talk like this. If you take anything from these last 3 years, I want you to remain open-minded. You two are fantastic players already, but that doesn't mean you should be satisfied with your current levels. Once you graduate and leave to wherever you might go, you'll be bound to meet new people and experience new cultures. Don't be afraid to try new things. That's how you grow, both as people and as athletes. And if at any point you need some guidance or even simply someone to hear you out, you can always reach out to me. I let all my former students know that the door is always open for them to come back and rely on me whenever they might need to. I like to think that those good relations are my greatest strength as a coach. Furthermore, the speech seems to go on forever. Whenever I think he's gearing up to finish it, he seems to pick up so extra gas somewhere, rambling on and on incessantly. By the time he's done, Saya-chan is wiping tears off her face. I'm trying my best to stay awake, and Keisuke is still nowhere to be found. Oh, we're on the bus this time. After breakfast, we are quickly rushed into the bus so we can get to the venue earlier than usual. I'm not sure what all the rush is about. It's not like we're expecting a line for sign-up today. Yet Coach insisted. Keisuke finally arrived halfway through breakfast, but he seemed to ignore my waving at him and instead sat opposite of me on the table, eating in silence before excusing himself before everyone else. I'm not even sure how he managed to eat that fast without choking. I made sure to get in the bus after he did, though, so I could take the seat directly next to him. The moment I sat down, Keisuke glanced at me briefly before looking away with a pained look on his face. I tried asking him what that was about, but it's nothing. You're seeing things. Really? That's going to be your response after leaving before I woke up? Literally avoiding me at breakfast and then looking at me weird just now? I'm seeing things? I don't know what else to tell you, Nico. You sure have been pretty quiet this morning. Saya leans back, peering at us from the seat in front of ours. Never mind the irony of her saying that when she's currently the quietest she's ever been. I'm trying to focus, that's all. I'm trying to focus, that's all. You're not panicking again or anything like that, are you? No. Okay. Saya sits back down, not sounding convinced at all. Not that I can blame her. Well, did you sleep okay at least? You were already gone when I woke up, so I don't even know when you... Sorry to interrupt, but could you give me a bit of space, actually? What, huh? I'm sorry. I know it's quite rude to ask, but I need some space right now. It's not exactly rude to ask. It's fine to need space, but how can you say that everything's fine when you're like this? Still, there's no point pushing when Keisuke is being this direct. He's the type to always dress everything up, even when he really shouldn't. If he's going as far as interrupting me, then it's best that I leave well alone. Besides, Keisuke's good at communicating. I'm sure he'll tell me what's going on whether he feels up to it. Or whenever. Oh, congrats on graduating, Tushman. I was gonna say hi after that little scene ended, but yeah. I saw the post. That's awesome. You're in your fursuit head. I think it was on Twitter. I saw it. But yeah, awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now you could, I don't know, either go back to school or work. I don't know. Whatever you want. But graduating's a nice feeling. A really big breath of fresh air. But yes,
Not much else was missed for Royal Gains when you first came in. Anyway. Upon getting to the venue for the last day of the competition, the first thing I do is stretch my stiff body. The trip might not be that long, but doing it so many days on a row while also working hard every single day starts to take a toll on you. I briefly look around, noticing that, as expected, the number of people around is much smaller than the last few days.
Alright, everyone. I'm going to talk to some of the tournament staff. Make sure to get your bags out of the bus and get yourself signed up at some point in the next 30 minutes. The match will start in an hour, so I'd really prefer if none of you were late.
You say that every day. Can't we consider the message delivered already?
You can never be too sure.
Rolling my eyes, I head to the side of the bus, grabbing my bags and pulling them up my shoulders. I expect Sai and Keisuke to be right behind me, but the two seem to be lagging behind. Sai is standing around by the bus door in a daze while... I should repeat that line, whoops. Saya is standing around by the bus's door in a daze while Keisuke hasn't even come out yet. Are these two going to be okay? Here, Saya-chan. Oh. Thanks. Did you hear a single word of what Coach was saying? He said something? Yeah. I have serious concerns about this. Do you need someone to talk to or something? No, I'll be fine. I need to work through this on my own. You sure? You definitely needed the help yesterday. I know what I'm feeling now, so it's easier. Knowing is half the battle, right? I'm not so sure that applies here, but you do you. And Keisuke isn't any better either. What do you mean? Isn't he here? He hasn't left the bus yet. How have you not noticed that? Oh, he hasn't? Oh. Weird. Oh, I swear to God. Yo, Keisuke, how long are you going to sit around? I walk up to the door, peering inside and calling out to my lethargic boyfriend. My lethargic boyfriend. Something about that just makes me feels. I walk up to the door, peering inside and calling out to my lethargic boyfriend, only to come face to face with the hair stepping outside the moment I do so. I'm here. There's no need to yell. Sorry, thought you were still at your seat. I was merely collecting myself. Collecting yourself? Like, from the floor or something? I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to mean. Are you feeling better at least? Even if I was feeling badly, I sincerely doubt a sub 20-minute bus trip would make me feel better. So that's a no then. It's nothing. I'm merely objecting to the premise of your question. I'm not feeling bad in the first place, so there's no need to feel better. Boy, you sure are a pain in the ass when you get like this. Honestly, reader's thoughts. And why is it that you always seem to talk like an old man at times like this? That's a dead giveaway. Saya-chan, can you please talk some sense into him? I don't think we're gonna get any sense talked into him. Saya-chan? Oh, sorry. Did you say something? Oh, you two are a nightmare! Nico, I appreciate the concern, but I really need some time alone right now to focus. Being around you makes it difficult. Wait, being around me? Why me specifically? Oh, you dense brick. Oh, you dense brick. Oh, that's a figure of speech. Like hell it is. Are you going to tell me what's going on eventually? Yes. Fine then. God, I won't push. Just do whatever you need to do. Thank you. For the first time today, Keisuke actually flashes me a smile, even if a brief, strained one. The sight of it only serves to make me worry even more, though. I'll talk to you both later. Oh, did the button freeze? It did not. I just hit it wrong. I'm hitting the enter button, but I touched it from the side. Keisuke grabs his bags, closing the baggage door of the bus and walking off right after, even going through the trouble of turning around the back of the vehicle as if to disappear sooner. I wonder if this is going to be something Alexander taught him, or if it was. A way to use our surroundings to disappear from sight easier, maybe? Well, I guess Keisuke's a bust. What about you, Saya-chan? Want to do something until we have to head inside? Although I float the question around her, I might as well be talking to a wall for all the good it does me. Seriously, woman, what are the God. Seriously, woman, what use are those huge ears of yours if he won't listen? Saya-chan. I try calling her again, but still face no response. Is this a software freeze or something? Hello? Earth to Saya. The hell is going on with you two today? Is this rabbit hibernation season or something? Saya! That would be me. What? Here, I'm here. God. Yes, I know you're here. What the hell is going on in your head? You're basically a zombie right now. Ugh, give me a break. I'm thinking of a lot of stuff. I don't usually have to think this much about... God, I usually don't have this much to think about, so it's taking me a while. And I can't focus with you barking at me every second. I don't bark. You bite. I'm horrible, sorry. I don't bark. Yip, woof, boof. Call it whatever you want. Just do way less of it. What the? I don't bark, and I certainly do not yip. Yip! Like that? Damn. Nico be like, I'm not a dog. Yes, you are. You know what? Forget it. You both are hopeless, and I'll do much better alone right now. Thanks. She replies in the same lazy, uninterested fashion as before, the brief display of attention having already long disappeared. Okay. I'm surrounded by weirdos today, and being around you two is not great for my mental health. So I'm gonna go stand way over there to the side. Is it something in the water, maybe? It has to be the knockout, or it has to be to knock out both of them at the same time. Maybe I'm immune. The braid is too dense. God, I always knew I was awesome. Yeah! Oh my god, the most dense moment ever. Okay, yeah, even thinking of silly jokes isn't doing much to cheer me up. I hang out by a nearby wall, leaning against it and browsing on my phone while glancing up every now and again to watch the people passing by. Saya-chan is, as expected, still walking around in circles by the sidewalk while muttering something to herself like some sort of lunatic. Has she finally snapped? Is that what's happening? Is this when I'm supposed to start running for my life? Oh, you should have a long time ago. Yeah, I've lived a good one already. Oh, yeah. I lived a good one already. I don't know how to read that inflection. Oh well, I lived a good one already. Other than that, there isn't much to occupy my mind. Even my phone is shockingly uninteresting at the moment, so I end up focusing more on the people than anything else. I see a lot of the same faces I've grown accustomed to over the years, minus a few irregulars here and there. I wonder if the other competitors are as an edge as the three of us are. Tanabe-kun isn't really the type to worry too much on the day of a match. He gets all of his anxiety and worry out of his system in the week preceding a competition, and it is all business-like once he's actually there. His opponent in the semifinals, though? Oof. That guy's probably sweating bullets right now. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not that opponent. Who is it, though? We'll never know. I think the 4th seed did manage to get to the semifinals. In that case, his opponent would be... God, who's number 4 right now? Sasakabe? I think it's Sasakabe. One sec. Let me check my interwebs. I could check that real fast. Hacker man. Let's see. 4 seed. Ah, here he is. I pressed the wrong button. No, now I have to reload everything. Gosh darn it. 4 seed. There we go. Here he is. Ah, I was right. Kojiro it's Kojiro Sasakabe. I need to get it so it's the last syllable and then like the third to last. Kojiro Sasakabe. I think I played against him last year when he was a lower seed. He's a serve and volleyer if I remember correctly. Oh god, he's one of those. Other than playing a style that you don't see as often nowadays, I don't really remember much of note from him. Short, stocky eagle, I think. Aw. We need fan art of him now! His style is very orthodox. His strokes are nothing special. His volleys are decent, and he's kind of fast on his feet. But that means nothing if you can destabilize him before you can get to the net. Oh, it's like serve and volley where you're like at the back line most of the time. I am bad at volleyball or tennis strategies. People are like this when they see my volleyball terms in my visual novel. They're like, what the fuck is this terminology? Why did you say angle and line? Me right now, what's a serve and volleyer? But at least based on my kind of instincts and implications of the word volley being in there, that definitely sounds like something that is more of a safe method. It's kind of different from Keisuke and Tanabe in a sense that they are more aggressive and try and go for dynamics and throwing things off. I guess, oh my god, the name is like Kawasaki. No, god, I am horrible. Just like, what was his name? Sasakabe. I knew it started with an S. But yes, Sasakabe. Definitely a lot more old school in that, you know, he'll let people tire themselves out, but it's like, I guess he has a tough serve, and then we'll just keep powering from the back line. No, maybe not power. I think maybe it's more on the defense. I don't know. What is a serve and volley type? I don't know. Help. But anyway, against someone like Tanabe, he wouldn't have a chance. Yeah, rip, dude. Better luck next year. Sucks to be you. Turns out we face him in the final. That would be freaking hilarious in this route. As for the girls division, this is always me when I'm at a tournament. I'm like, I wonder what's going on in the other divisions. Looks up every division. Speaking of which, I wonder who qualified for the beach volleyball tournament this weekend. The professional league, the AVP, they're having like their Huntington Beach tournament, so one of the big Southern California places. And so, yeah, people are all about that right now. And so there was a qualifier yesterday. Yep, And yeah, a few people qualified. I wonder who. But I'm distracted right now. Let's check out the girls' division of the tennis tournament in... Is this Saitama? Is this the Saitama regionals? I thought we were in prefecturals before. I wasn't sure if that was only Saitama. Whatever. Right. I literally know none of these girls other than Saya. I'm sure whoever's playing against her is probably going to be a nervous wreck. But other than that, I have no idea. I really should start paying a little more attention. At the very least, playing against Saya was very eye-opening for me. Maybe I'll be able to pick up something useful from watching the girls since their playstyles seem to be different. Honestly, that's how it was for me when I watched girls volleyball. Because it would be a lot more of that, like, kind of, not serve and volley, but kind of that, like, yeah, I guess you can kind of call it serve and volley, but it's more of that, like, strategic movery, kind of like a Tanabe or a Keisuke. Men are like, men's volleyball, boys volleyball is more like Nico. Slam hard, score point. It is super different, but you still have to try and have relatively good defense, but in general, the defense is not as consistent, I would say, or stable. Like, you could still be pretty good on defense, but you really have to take the brunt. You have to really put yourself up more. With women's volleyball, it's a lot more chess-like. But then again, then we have beach volleyball, and that's like a whole nother level of chess. Chess, but with sand on fire. Then again, maybe it's a bit late for that. Let's see, what else? Ah, shoot, I should have brought out my iPad to do the whole tournament thing again. Now I will have known who the number 4 seed is. Gosh darn it. I can't believe this was something I did like last year, but I'm not gonna like distract ourselves with it. I'm just curious to see what the Procreate file looked like. Last time I touched it, I think it was like December. Please tell me I didn't delete it. Yes, it's still here. Kanto, god damn it, it's the Kanto regionals. Why did I say Saitama? I'm sorry. Uh-oh. Me about to point out consistency. Don't do it, Dirk. Don't do it, Dirk. Conspiracy moment now. Okay. So the 4 seed, according to what I had, based on the last time I wrote it, was Kiko Chihara. And I had a question mark about Aki's classmate being Hayato, potentially, and possibly being the 13th seed. And then eventually we got to the semifinals and I had implied or thought it was going to be Hayato, but based on this, it is... God damn it, I'm going to forget his name. It starts with an S. It's a something. Sasaka something. Sasasuke. But yes, based on this logic, Sasasuke should have been the 4th seed. Maybe he's the 5th seed because I don't have a question mark or whoever it was on the 5th seed. So we are writing down Sasasuke and going, oh shit, my brush size. We are going, oh shit, my brush size. That is not the brush I want to do. It wasn't syrup, was it? It can't be syrup. It may have been technical pen. I made that pen way too big. That's way too small. Oh, it's Sasasuke. I get a feeling that I still... Yeah. I haven't used Procreate in a while. But who? Sasasuke should be the 4th seed, though. Is Kiko Chihara the 5th seed? Maybe there was an update and that name got changed. I keep misspelling it. I need to pull out like the iPad and share it again, but I don't know if I can. I think I have to re-download whatever app it was. Question mark? Okay, we're gonna go into conspiracies later. Enough talk of that. Let's do the hitty, the smashy, the tennis, the whack of the ball. Ah, better luck next year. At the very least, Saya was very eye-opening for me. Maybe I'd be able to pick something useful up, and then I ranted about play styles. Let's see, what else? Seriously, I have no idea what to do with myself. Talk more about the tennis tournament conspiracy theories, Nico. Talk about them. And hi, Kurushikudo? I think it's Kurushikudo. I think I've seen you last stream. I was like, I think it was like the first time I saw your name last stream. I was like confused on how to pronounce it. But yeah. Kurushikudo. Hello. But yes, this might be a problem. We got too distracted. We're late now because we got into our tennis tournament conspiracy theories. After what felt like an eternity of merely pacing around and looking at my phone semi-obsessively in an attempt to relax, I eventually caved and sought advice from the one place I'd previously sworn to never go to. My coach. Or, well, maybe not that I swore not to, but I certainly didn't expect it. Surprisingly, though, he was a lot more insightful and helpful than I expected of him. If I'm being honest, I feel a little guilty for my previous opinion of him. He's shown glimpses of actually being good before, but I always rationalized them away, partly because of his goofy attitude that makes it hard to take him seriously. But after the conversation we had, I really need to be better about judging people, don't I? Once my concerns have been dispelled, I headed back into the male locker room, getting myself dressed as quickly as possible to minimize the chances of being walked in on. Hopefully nobody walks in on me. Oh no! I am the worst. It's not like I planned on waiting from the get-go so that other players or other guys would get the chance to get changed before me and leave the room empty when I came to use it. Nope, not at all. God. Imagine if Tanabe were to walk in on me undressing. Oh, God, that would be mortifying. Sounds like somebody's fanfiction. What if Tanabe walked in on Nico changing? That would be the Days 37 fanfiction alternate universe, and I'm giving too many people ideas right now. This is where it started. Or worse, if I were to walk in on him when he's half naked, that's the other fanfiction. The B version. That would be... Well, that... No, get out of it. Get out of the gutter. That would be... Nope! Not going there! Absolutely not! Bad thoughts, bad thoughts! Oh, realizing that I might have a crush on him at some point was already bad enough. I don't need to be getting an erection thinking of it. Oh no. Fuck. Keisuke might be understanding, but I'm sure he would kill me if he knew. Embarrassed, I quickly get changed into my tennis clothing, awkwardly pulling up my shorts and try to hide the half-erect volume inside my underwear. Oh God, it's even a little damn too. Ah! Ah! Oh, I really need to get off soon. Damn it. Shaking off those kinds of thoughts, I wash my face and give myself the time for it to go down before I head out. Walking around the interior of the arena and searching for a familiar face. No sign of Keisuke yet, which is not ideal. Then as I'm about to give up on finding someone, I spot the one face I really wish I wouldn't see right now. Glasses moment. The moment I notice him, I think of turning around and think... Well, I'm too nervous, I can't speak. Ah! The moment I notice him, I think of turning around and trying to sneakily walk away. But it's far too late as the red panda notices me and calls me out. Which one? Hi, it's me, Dirk the Panda, who's also a red panda, but can also be a giant panda if you really want to, but I don't have the veto tube set up for it right now, so you'll have to trust me. Morning, Nico-kun. And it's Kun now! Kun? Nico-kun. Ah, Nico-kun. Is it Nico-kun now? Wasn't it San just yesterday? Ah, can't you make up your mind? Hey there, Tanabe-kun. Oh, I'm glad to have the chance to talk before our matches start. I trust that you are well. As well as I can be, considering I'm talking to you right now. After that thing while I was getting changed. Yeah, I'm totally fine. Are you really? Doesn't seem like it. Did he really pick up on something? No. Why do you ask? Is this about yesterday? I knew I'd made things a bit awkward, but I did know what exactly I could say to make it better. So I decided to act as if nothing had happened. Was I wrong to do so? Oh, wait. Is this what he's talking about? Oh, thank God. I was worried he could tell I was thinking of bad things in here. In my brain, the noggin, the dense brick that is known as my brain. It's fine. It's fine. No need to worry about it. Please don't do that. You still have that habit of minimizing problems to make others feel better, and that really doesn't help. Look, I don't really know how to say this. It's the kind of conversation I've been meaning to have for over a year, but I can never find the correct words for it. I've been so focused on apologizing and making up with you that I slipped into being far too casual yesterday. As if I had the right to do that. Wait, what? Hang on, what's happening? What? Tanabe is apologizing? Huh? I was stupid and proud and let my temper get the better of me. I assigned intent to your actions without even asking you about them and then took my assumptions out on you. For that, I sincerely apologize. How am I even supposed to respond to this? 1 minute, nothing, and then... Sorry. I can imagine that this has come as quite a surprise to you, right? I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable or anything. If I'm being honest, I would completely understand if you had refused to even hear me out. My actions over the last few years didn't exactly foster goodwill. They didn't fester that well either. Tanabe-kun, I really don't know what to say here. Oh, I can understand. I can't begin to imagine how I've hurt you. How much. So it would make sense for this to be hard for you. To tell you the truth, it only took me about a year or so to regret the way I handled my insecurities back then. But by then, you had given up on messaging me and I didn't know how to reach out. Worse still, when I did talk to you during the competition after that, I was too awkward and embarrassed to say anything of substance. And then after we played each other, I got frustrated again. Oof. Sadly, that particular cycle kept repeating far longer than I would have cared to admit. So, what? You're saying that you've been meaning to make up for me for almost 2 years and just didn't? I suppose so. Yeah, that really doesn't cut it for me. You've had more than your fair share of chances, and you've never even hinted at it. Okay, then now all of a sudden? Why now? Are you just saying this because I've caught your interest again? Well, no. No. For the first time in years, I get to see a side I'd forgotten about. Tanabe actually being absolutely speechless. Even back then, it was a very rare view indeed. Absolutely not. That's not it at all. Then what? Because, yeah, if you're going to say all of that, then I'll be honest and say I'm not buying it. It's been 3 fucking years, Tanabe. Perhaps I'm a little more curt than necessary, but seeing him saying all these things out of nowhere, once the shock wears out, the anger, the frustration, the hurt, resentment that had been hiding underneath the surface, it all began to boil over again. What the hell is this even about? I didn't know how to say what I had to say. You know, I've never been good with people. Talking about these kinds of things is difficult for me. So I kept postponing it. Then it hit me a few weeks ago. We have what? The Tokyo Regional and then the All Japan Junior, and that's it. It's not like I live anywhere near you. And dropping by in your city solely for this would have been awkward. When I realized I was running out of time, I didn't want this to be how we'd end things. For good or bad, even though we're both going pro, there's so many tournaments every year that outside of the major ones, the odds of 2 random players meeting up more than once or twice a year are slim at best. I realized that if I didn't find my way to say it soon, I likely would never have the chance. And the thought of that was painful for me. I sigh, covering my face with both hands and rubbing my temple as I try to gather my thoughts. Of all the directions I could have anticipated this conversation going in, this one was certainly not one of them. What exactly do you expect me to say here? Nothing in particular. I didn't expect you to say or do anything. I merely wanted to say it before it became too late. I see. Well, that's great. But I can't afford to worry about this right now. I need to, concentrate on the competition. I'll see you later, Tanabe. Right. Still, thank you so much for at least hearing me out. I take my leave as fast as possible, not wanting to hang around for even a second longer in case he decides to add something else to it. Sure, I guess that it's not outside the realm of possibility that he's been thinking about me and what happened between us back in middle school. If I've been feeling nostalgic and thinking on it because we're close to graduating, if I have, there's no reason the same can't be true for him. But it's just so convenient. Or maybe that's my spiteful side coming out. All I know is that I'm in no position on focusing on this right now. Instead, I continue to search around for any sign of Saya. After a couple of minutes, as I'm about to go outside to see if she's still walking in circles by the entrance, I spot her walking around, still in a daze. At least she's changed. Still zoning out, are we? Huh. Oh. Hey, Nikakun. No, not really. Then what's with that look on your face? I can't find Keikun, and he's not answering his phone either. Oh. Oh, damn, that's not good at all. Aren't we on in less than 15 minutes? Now, do you get why I have this look on my face? Yeah. This is concerning. Should we look for him? Maybe he's in here already and we just haven't run into him yet. Sure, that's what I was doing. It's not like we can afford to search outside. You don't think he'd miss our match, do you? If he does, I'm making him run 100 laps around the school as punishment. Yikes, I can't see him surviving that. I really should find him unless I want my boyfriend to be killed by a Spartan punishment game. Honestly, that would be Saya, putting him in a gauntlet. Saya would be... Fuck, what's his name? The Saw guy. Jigsaw. She'd be Jigsaw. I want to play a game. Where have you already looked? I was looking the side building a couple minutes ago. Then I came back here and ran into you. Side building? Why there? There's no games being played there today. I'm surprised it's even open. Yeah, but Keikun kept going on about wanting to be alone, right? What's better place to be alone than the building that no one's expected to be in? Oh, that's actually pretty smart. 300 IQ. Still turned out to be wrong, but yeah, pretty smart. This would be a lot easier if the others were here by now. Don't get me started on them. I can only afford to be annoyed at one person at a time. Wait, seriously? This might be important information in the future. I'll make sure to remember that. Power in numbers. The two of us walk around the venue for a bit, exploring the area Saya mentioned, not having looked into yet in our search for the missing hair. I guess you could say he really got out of our hair. I hate it here. As the minutes pass, the feeling of dread growing on the pit of my stomach increases little by little, till I'm at risk of being taken over by a silent, insidious panic. Where the hell did he go? What is he thinking? I don't know, but once I find him, I'll kill him. Now that helps nobody. It helps me! Damn. I could see this happening. Please say in Fortnite, Saya. Please say in Fortnite. Just like, Saya, I'm gonna kill him. Nico, in Fortnite? Please say in Fortnite. Wait, oh yeah, Fortnite was out in like 2016, 2017. Because that's when this story, like, date-wise takes place, actually. Fun fact, it's not modern day, but a few years ago modern day. Yeah, technically their graduation year is like the same as mine, pretty much. So we'd be graduating at the same time. So in the sense, I am their age. Anyway, I am not sure what the cost is worth. I'm not sure the cost is worth it, though. Doubling back from where we were, we returned to the entrance once again as we discussed the possibility of looking for him outside the building. But as we approached the front entrance, 3 other familiar faces come into view, looking as if in search of someone. I cross eyes with Aki and, with a smile, my little brother points at me and warns the other two.
Good timing. I was wondering where you two of you went off to. It's almost time for your matches to start.
You're not the only one. We were wondering the same thing about a certain missing person that should not be named.
You don't mean? Wait, where's Keisuke-san?
Exactly.
You mean he's not with you?
Does it look like he's with us?
Don't know. Maybe you were planning on pulling him out of your hat.
God damn it, Shoichi. Sai's gonna kill you.
Maybe you were planning on pulling him out of your hat.
Those are rabbits, you ass. And no, we weren't planning on doing anything like that.
Bummer. It'd be a showstopper.
Have you guys looked around for Keisuke-san yet? We just did. He's nowhere in the venue. At least not that we could find him.
Seriously? His match is in less than 10 minutes. The hell is he thinking?
Wish I knew. Suddenly, a loud, muffled chime echoes from Cyanai's bags almost at the same time. Coincidence? I wish back in my day I had phone alerts for my tournament matches. It's funny to think 2016, 2017 when this takes place. Yeah, I never had that like alert. Like we had like a phone app to look at the tournament stuff, but it never notified us when our matches were. It would just show a schedule of like, oh, you can go to this page to individually look at this pool and this bracket and blah, blah, blah. I think it's still an app, but I know that there's been a lot of, changes and whatnot with whatever the user interface and whatnot. I've checked once recently what it's like now, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm old. Technology, man. They shoot me a look of concern. We're being called, aren't we? Yeah. All players are to head to their assigned courts in preparation for their matches. Why do I feel like I have a lump the size of a fist firmly lodged in my throat right now? On the upside, Keisuke-san will have received that message too. I'm sure he can't be far from here. He'll probably come running.
He better.
I really, really hope so, yeah. We should get going, Nico-kun. I know. Rather not, but I know I have to. God knows I won't be able to relax and focus while worrying, though. Yeah, well, at least you'll know when he arrives. At least you'll know when he arrives, since you two are playing in the same court. I'll have to sit on mine and wonder.
Don't be like that. One of us can head over there and give you a thumbs up once he gets here.
Please do. I don't think I'll be able to concentrate otherwise.
You got it.
Shoichi, you good boy. Now go on. It won't do anyone any good if you two are also late for your matches. Aniki is a different story on his own, but you do have an opponent you could behave hanging, Sayane. I know. I'll be going now.
Good luck to you both.
Yeah, good luck. I'm wishing all three of you the best.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you guys in a bit. Sai and I take a deep breath, sharing a look and a nod before finally heading our opposite ways and into our respective courts. Yeah, Aki is adorable. Sweet bean. As much as the situation sucks, we both know we can't afford to bring this mood in the game with us. Get your head in the game, Nico. Gotta get your head in the game. Gotta get your... Oh my god. High School Musical, but it's Tennis Ace. At least for me, I'm going to need to do some serious work to relax myself if I want to have any chance of focusing before the game. I place my bags on the bench, greeting the umpire and the officials working to clean and check the court, then promptly sit down and close my eyes. Deep breaths, Nico. This is when you really need to remember to take deep breaths. I might try taking some of Coach's advice from earlier today. Let's see. What's an easy pre-game routine that I can try to create starting today? I don't have a drink with me, so mimicking Saya is out of the question. It should be something quick, easy, and repeatable. Oh, I know. I'll listen to some music. Maybe listen to the same song on loop. That could work as a pre-game routine. I dig into my bags, pulling out my phone and my earbuds and quickly scrolling through my song list to try and find something that I wouldn't mind listening to on repeat. I tap on the filters, deciding to filter my songs by most played and picking the number one song on the list to use. It's going to be something I listen before every match. I need to make it sure it's something I both enjoy and can already listen to a lot without getting sick of it. Oh, what's this? It's a vibe. And while I hadn't realized it, I apparently listened to the recording of Keisuke's band a lot in the past month or so. Oh, it's this song. Still, it feels somewhat natural to pick it, so I tap on the play button without thinking of much else. Are we gonna have Baskets singing too? That would be fun. I lean back on my seat, trying to focus solely on the song and forgetting all my exterior thoughts. Before long, I can feel my thoughts slowing down a little. Several minutes pass while I listen to it, only looking up occasionally to glance around and see if there's any sign of Keisuke yet. Eventually, I finally spot a white and green silhouette rushing to the court's entrance, barely stopping long enough to catch his breath before coming to a stop actually, near the umpire's chair. God, I'm very sorry for the delay. I lost track of time and made my way here in a hurry once I got the message. Am I late? There's still 3 minutes before the match starts. I would recommend you prepare yourself. Thank you very much. Did you get lost on the way here or something? Do you have any idea how worried we were? Sorry, I headed to the back courts down the block to clear my mind, but I ended up sitting around staring at the sky to try and relax. If you just sat around doing nothing, you could have done that from here! Did it at least work? Is your head clear or something? Yes. Yes. Does that mean you could tell me why you've been avoiding me all morning yet? At that, Keisuke pauses, straightening his back and looking down at me. The shift in his expression is all too clear and, frankly, a little unsettling. I'm sorry. I know it might come out a bit callous on my part, but I merely knew that being around you, especially with how close we are, would make it far too difficult for me to get into a proper headspace. That's why I made the calculated decision to put some distance between us, at least until our match is over. After all, from now until the end of our match, we are supposed to be opponents, rivals, not friends or anything else. Whoa. Damn, son. That's... Damn. You really got this serious over something like that? I don't want to say that it sounds stupid, but... Come on! That's what this is about? I'm afraid so. Please forgive me my selfishness. God, that sounds like such an old man thing to say. Please forgive me my selfishness. The moment is here. Breathing deep, focus and calm. Ready to give all. Was that a haiku? I said haiku instead of haiku. God damn it. Too much anime. Yes, my mind does go places when I'm trying to concentrate. You should know that. I've scribbled several poems and song lyrics while I was at your place. Yeah, I get that. It's just... If you're going to fuck off into nowhere to write a poem, could you have at least made it a good one? Damn, you already decimated him before the game. Murdered him. I don't care who wins. Damn, Keisuke's got an L. Fuck. Probably shouldn't say that part, though. So I'll keep smiling and nodding. Either way, I've been looking forward to this for a while. I hope you'll give me your all, Mishimaya-san. What? Did you just call me by my last name? Yes, well, I did say I needed distance, and I'm sorry. Without belaboring his point any further, Keisuke heads to his bench in silence, setting down his bags and pulling out his equipment, not bothering to shoot so much as a sideways glance at me. I can't pretend that it doesn't sting a little, but I suppose I should at least give him this much. I'll try my best not to take it personally. At least for now. I also need to focus on my own preparations, so I have to put a pin on it regardless. Here we go. The big match. We go through a brief warm-up period where we hit the ball back and forth and to one another before being called to the net for the coin toss. Seems like I've won the toss. I shall be receiving then. Why am I not surprised? One cannot deny, why I say it like that? One cannot deny one's own nature. Damn. I have no idea what that means, nor do I feel like playing dictionary in my mind right now. So I'll pretend I didn't hear it. The two of us take position behind the baseline, with Keisuke tapping the tip of his foot against the floor a few times and getting on his knees to check his shoelaces. I take a few deep breaths, readying myself for what is to come. It's not as if I'm scared. That's definitely not it. For one, even though I know I shouldn't be so cocky, I simply haven't ever even contemplated the possibility that I might lose to him. It's horrible to say, especially considering how many times we practice together and how much I care for him. Hell, he's my boyfriend. But maybe it's because I played against him so many times that I have a very clear image of how he plays and how good he is. And so, instead of worrying about my chances, the only thing I can think about right now is how I hope his feelings won't be hurt by the end. I know I shouldn't think this way. I know he'd be mad at me for it. He'd say I'm not taking him seriously enough if I'm considering his feelings in the middle of a game. And he's made it more than clear now in the last few minutes that the inverse isn't true, which I should be happy about. But somehow I'm not. Ugh. Focus, Nico. Stop bringing your relationship problems to a game. Instead, I shake myself, telling myself to flip into game mode already. The one on this court with me right now is an opponent. Whatever we are outside of the court is meant to stay outside. It's just, I don't want to lose to someone else because of tennis. If it already hurt that much with Tanabe, I can't imagine how it would feel with Keisuke. Mishimaya-kun, your 25 seconds are almost over. Please keep that in mind. Ah, right. My bad. Oh God, what am I doing? Get a grip, me! I tighten my grip on the ball, tossing it into the air and deciding to simply blow these intrusive thoughts away with my serve. I launch a fastball with as little spin as possible, aiming at the very edges of the court. The hare quickly dashes to that spot, hitting the ball back as hard as he can down the line. Unlike when we first played against each other in a practice match of those months ago, he neither fails to react to the ball altogether, nor does he send a shallow return that is easy to attack. Perhaps as the quickest possible display of his efforts in training, Keisuke sends the ball deep into the opposite side of my court, forcing me to run for it. From the very beginning of the match, the game is locked into an unbearable high tempo. While I'm used to taking a point within the very first strokes, especially this early in the game, even the very first rally almost lasts 10 strokes. In the back of my mind, I could tell that something feels off. Not with Keisuke or the match in specific, but with me. I can't seem to get into it. Whether it's the nerves from better or from before, whether it's the nerves from before or something else that I'm not quite sure about, I'm having trouble flipping my switch. Even then, it's not as if the match is going badly. While I can tell that I'm not performing my best, I'm still managing to steadily build up momentum. On the other hand, even if I'm not exactly playing my best right now, I can't believe I'm yelling in the middle of a match. Even if I'm not playing my best right now, Keisuke is keeping up with me about as well as I expected him to. He's always been the tenacious sort, and I'm sure the abundance of information he has on me from all our practice matches can't hurt. That's why I know I can't keep hesitating. Keisuke is a good player in his own right. I might be the better player overall, but it's not unheard of for the better player to lose in an upset. And this kind of mental turmoil I'm dealing with is exactly the kind of thing that breeds upsets. Game Mishimaya, 4-4. And yet, while the match progresses about as well as I expect it to, something about it feels fishy. I look to the hare, trying to gauge something from his body language, only to see, yes, him fist pumping in some sort of celebration. What is that about? Why is he celebrating? Maybe he's happy that he's managed to hold on and even score until now without having his service broken, but is that really something to be celebrating in the first place? Something about this is setting alarms in my head, but I can't tell what it is I'm supposed to be wary of. Every instinct of mine is telling me to brace for impact, but it's hard to do so when you can't even see the crash coming. I keep my eyes firmly on the hare, trying to figure out what about him has me so uneasy. But as far as I can tell, everything seems to be normal. Unlike in his match against Yuya-kun, Keisuke is bringing all to bear against me from the get-go. I mean, how could he not? We played each other so many times that I probably know him better than anyone else. I'll be able to tell at a glance if he were holding back like he did with Yuya. Right? What's going on here? If I mutter more to myself than anyone else, or anything else, as I try to figure out what to do. Since I can't spot anything in specific to watch out for, I instead elect to keep playing while watching Keisuke more carefully than usual. If there's anyone I know that's bound to pull some kind of tricky play out of his ass, it's him. And I'm even more aware of it after I saw him abuse the timeout system yesterday. As usual, while it's tougher to push my own rhythm when Keisuke is serving, my own serve game is a completely different story. The advantage from me being the one serving is enough to let me set my own pace, pushing Keisuke around until I can eventually run him out of the point or bruise for a winner. For his part, it's clear that the hare's trying his best to hang on to whatever openings he has, desperately and tenaciously running after each and every ball. Our last few practice matches and all came down to him trying to mount a strong defense and attempting to outlast me, preying on my weaker stamina. Granted, it hasn't worked out for him even once so far, but I also didn't have the added urgency of needing to save as much energy as possible for the finals right after. If I let myself be goaded into a drawn-out game, I might find myself in a situation where I'll have no chance to do anything against Tanabe after I win. After all, no matter how prepared you are, a competition like this builds up a lot of fatigue over time. After all, no matter how prepared you are, a competition like this builds up a lot of fatigue over time. Wait, why am I thinking about my match with Tanabe here? There's no place to be thinking about that. And my body already felt somewhat heavy, but now it feels like my limbs have grown even heavier. I can't seem to move like I want to. 40-30. Crap! Keisuke's at break point now. What was... Keisuke changed track halfway through that rally. He's been playing defensively this whole time, hitting the ball back and forth as far away from me as possible to keep me running and wearing myself out, but suddenly shifted to aiming the ball at my feet. The sudden, unexpected change didn't leave me time to adjust for my footwork, and the awkward positioning forced me to hit weaker balls back, which he promptly attacked. That is not something I saw during our practice games. What the hell? Player Mishimaya, please get in serve position. Right, my bad. Shit. This isn't the time to be breaking down like that, Nico. Wait, what the hell is going on with me? Not only am I struggling to get into it, but I keep getting distracted. Nothing I can do but try to switch back. Come on, Nico. You've never struggled this much to get into gear before. Right away, I see a return of that annoying tactic from the previous point. But not only that, Keisuke is also now throwing in a mix of high top spin shots and deep spin shots to force me to hit the ball back at different... He's trying to force me to hit these deep shots and high top spin shots back at a different contact point than I'm used to. All of these on their own aren't uncommon strategies. I'm used to having people pull those against me since they're well-known methods for dealing with power baseliners like me. But never so many of them at the same time. Never with this kind of consistency. What is going on? Where did you get all those new tactics from? You've never once used them against me in training. Are you serious? Shit. After pushing me around for an entire long rally with this sudden focus on the topspin shots and constant aiming at the baseline, the hare suddenly shoots a shallow slice near the net that tries to slip out of the court. I run after it, but the ball has just enough power to be unreachable with my delayed reaction, especially as I stumble on my own 2 feet and nearly fall to the floor. Game Urushihara, 5-4. Immediately, I begin to hear a few murmurs from all around us. Even I am stunned. Keisuke broke my serve. Here. In an official match of all places. How? No. Hang on a second. That's not what you should be focused on. That is not what you should be surprised about. That entire rally. What the hell was that? That he'd be able to think of those kinds of strategies isn't all that surprising since they're so standard, but when did Keisuke ever have the chance to practice them to this level? You pretty much only play against me nowadays. How would you have been able to practice those? And when? Play starts with Keisuke now serving, and with the same strategies from before making a reappearance, along with a liberal use of kick serves and even more shot variation than before. There's no doubt in my mind that the Hare had prepared a lot of countermeasures against me, specifically, and kept them hidden for as long as possible, so as to strike when I'm most vulnerable. He knew that the shock would destabilize me and give him an opening to the exploit. And now I'm being led by the nose by him. Has he been planning this the whole time? There's no way, right? I mean, I know he could be sly, but to intentionally hold back for months during practice matches just so he could surprise me out of a competition? You're my boyfriend. Would you seriously go out of your way to lie and deceive me just so you could steal a win? There's no way you'd be that scummy, right? Try as I might to deny reality, the point is driven home all the same that I continue to defend against Keisuke's merciless assault. There's too much finesse for this to be an impromptu decision. You can't fine-tune these strategies this much without serious practice. Seriously. To his own boyfriend. Is this what he meant when he said he was sorry? Can you seriously separate things that neatly? Split apart the lines between boyfriend and opponent so precisely? How are you so good at this? I've been so concerned with how he would feel if he lost. So worried about hurting his feelings. After all, I know how hard he tends to take it. I remember the look on his face when we first played against each other. I remember how angry he was when Murasaki and Sasaki-san first came back to Japan to help us train. I remember how upset he was when he lost to Yuya-kun a few months ago. All this time, I spent worrying about his feelings, wanting to protect him, encourage him, and take care of him as his boyfriend. I know I shouldn't take it personally, but I still do. I spent all that time worrying about it, but I now doubt that the thought crossed his mind even once. Game and first set won by Urushihara, 6-4. Yes! Keisuke pumps his fists, screaming so loudly in celebration as to earn himself a glare from the umpire. Sorry, I got too excited. Even the Keisuke that never before managed to steal a set from me is now loudly celebrating it, as if he'd won the whole match. The view repulses me. My overt concern for his feelings instead of simply looking at him as an opponent to beat me also repulses me. Something inside my head clicks. Or maybe it would be more accurate to just say that it breaks. Looking away from him, I walk to the bench, patting myself dry and taking a swig from my bottle. From the corner of my eye, I could tell that Urushihara dallies for a few seconds, stopping for a bit and looking hesitantly at me before proceeding to his bench. What are you even looking at this point in time? I don't care anymore. I put far too much mental energy into clearly the wrong place. Now look at where it's led me. More than anything, I need to fix my mistaken thought process before it causes me to stumble once more. I absolutely cannot allow myself to make this kind of mistake again. Wano. This is the first time he's ever taken a set from me. Not to mention the first time I've ever dropped a set to anyone in this competition other than Takagi. Or Takagi. Might be Takagi. God, what is this frustration? My heart is beating so hard that my chest hurts. I bite my quivering lip as I clutch my chest, trying as hard as I can to understand this feeling that I haven't felt in so long. The feeling of damaged pride and anger. The humiliation. Even though I told myself I could never imagine losing a single set to Keisuke, I find myself here now. Just watching him celebrate earlier frustrates me. I look at him one more time, intentionally erasing the image of my boyfriend Keisuke from my mind and instead focusing on that player, Urushihara. Anything else would be a disservice to me. At this rate, if I continue to take things in this half-hearted way, I will never be able to amount to anything. Faced with the very real prospect of being beaten due to my own stupid, useless hang-ups, I finally find a certain something called resolve. When I open my eyes and step back into the court at the end of the break, my previously chaotic thoughts have stilled and cohered into a single stream of consciousness. On my pride as Japan's former #1, I absolutely refuse to allow this farce to continue any longer. What is going on? What the hell's going on? I was winning. I had the advantage. I was leading the game. I was supposed to be leading the game. Despite feeling some sense of regret and guilt upon seeing the look on Nico's face at the end of the first set, I still steeled myself, shoving those feelings way down deep and focusing on the match at hand. Whatever came of it, I knew that the chance would fall in my lap again. This kind of surprise attack can only ever work once after all. So why the hell did things turn out this way? One by one, every single strategy I've come up with to counter all of Nico's strengths, weaknesses, and vices is being countered, crushed, and torn into pieces. The fear and concern that started growing at the beginning of the second set has now turned into outright panic as I'm forced into an ever-diminishing corner, unable to do anything but fight for my own life. I planned everything so meticulously. I prepared a plan, an alternative plan, and an alternative plan for that alternative plan. Also, I could bolster my odds at victory as much as possible when the day could finally come to play against you in an official competition. I've looked forward to this day for so long, ever since I came to the school, maybe even before then. Nothing could describe the elation I felt when the chance finally came to me. Nothing could match my elation when I realized that my strategies were working. I thought I was finally catching up to you. I worked so hard with nothing but that goal in mind. So, why are you so much farther ahead than me again? No matter what I throw at them, no matter how hard I try, my every attempt is shot down as fast as I came up with them. It's gotten to the point that I cannot even contemplate merely being run around the court in a fruitless attempt to find something, some kind of avenue that I can explore to regain a foothold in this match. But for all I try, Nico's reign is absolute. His hold upon the game's pace is kept at an iron fist. With an iron fist. Game Mishimaya, 5-2. I have to try my best to keep at bay the growing urge to cry from frustration. What is going on? Didn't I plan well enough? Didn't I work hard enough? I put everything I had into it, even doing something I knew might hurt you, all in an attempt to get you to recognize me as a serious rival. Also, I could finally defeat the player I admired the most. So how is it that it all feels so pointless now? When our eyes meet as we were changing court sides, my glances met and held for only the briefest moment. Instead, it's as if you were looking right through me. That moment, that one single interaction, as if I weren't even worthy of your time and acknowledgement. I wasn't prepared for how deeply it could hurt. Is this what it makes to be taken seriously? Is this what happens when I push you to see me as nothing but another player? Is the moment when my worthiness is gauged solely based on my skill also the moment I completely disappear from your radar? Even if this is a situation of my own making, I was not prepared for this. Nico. The moment play restarts, Urushihara tries serving with a wide slice that skids away from the court in an attempt to get me out of position. Ever since the start of the second set, his composure has been fraying. I, on the other hand, feel lighter and freer than... Honestly, I don't even remember when I last felt like this. 15 love. Back when I played against Murasaki-senpai back in April. I felt as if I was knocking on the door to... something. Like my body was starting to kick off the dust and get back into a gear that I hadn't used in a long time. But compared to this, it was only scratching the surface. All of a sudden, my brain is getting flooded with all these great ideas, different strategies that I can use to deal with Urushihara. And my body is responding in kind, moving faster than it has in a long time. This is how I used to feel before. This feeling is why I used to love tennis so much. Once that realization clicked into place, all extraneous thoughts disappeared and I was able to perform at a higher level than I hadn't in years. 40 love. Finally, for the first time since the goddamn slump started to creep up on me without realizing it, I can actually say, I'm on fire! Game Mishimaya, 5-1. Urushihara gasps heavily, struggling for breath as he stares at me with eyes practically devoid of any more spark. In response, I turn back and walk into my serve position. There's no place for those kinds of concerns once you're on the court. I grip the ball, bouncing it on the ground a few times, feeling its firm yet soft surface against the palm of my hand with each bounce. When I look back up, I see the hair grudgingly moving into position, his body seeming stiff and overly tense. He hasn't been moving very well for a while, whether that's from exhaustion settling in or the psychological damage of having the tables flip so heavily on him. I can't know. And frankly, it doesn't matter. While I couldn't focus well enough due to the stifling panic, once my mind cleared, I became able to read his movements and tactics much more clearly than before. And in the process of doing that, one thing became increasingly clear to me. Anyone can tell that Urushihara has improved every aspect of his game by a shocking degree. If anything, I might even be willing to call his development explosive. Truth be told, if I hadn't known about it already from all the practice matches we've had, I would certainly have been caught by surprise. 15 love. If I only had his performances in previous competitions to go by, there'd be no way I've imagined him improving this much in such a short amount of time. I guess this truly is a testament to how much he's applied himself as of late. I should know that much better than anyone. And maybe it's because of that it's all become more obvious to me. 30 love. Urushihara, you're an efficient player. I can tell how much effort you put into polishing your skills. All of it is really obvious to me. But you need more than just efficiency and effort to really set yourself apart in the world of professional sports. 40 Love. While you certainly improved greatly, that was nothing more than you improving the efficiency of your training and shedding away the toxic mentality you used to be so constrained by. Your overall maximum potential hasn't really changed. I had my suspicions when we first played a practice match against each other, but now that I can play you in a truly serious match, I can tell for sure. You simply don't have what it takes to cross into this side. Game, set, and match won by Rishimaya. Count 4-6. 6-2. Or count 4 games to 6. 6 games to 2. 6 games to 1. The moment the match results are announced, the Hare drops his racket and lets himself fall to the floor, sitting down and leaning back to cover his face with his arms. The sound of the audience clapping drowns away as Arushihara is gasping and coughing. It drowns it out. He's barely even able to stand. It's more than clear that he's pushed himself far past his limits. I stand silently on my spot, watching him with interest for several seconds before something within me stirs. Finally, I realize that I shouldn't be watching him as if he were something. Seriously, what the hell am I doing? I jump over the net, rushing towards Keisuke and extending a hand to help him back onto his feet. Keisuke looks up at me, his eyes darting from my hand to my face. And I can't lie, it breaks my heart a little to see the way he looks at me when our eyes meet. Let me help you up. You did far too well to be lying on the floor like this. Hold your head high. Keisuke looks away. For a brief second, I worried that he might refuse my help. But with an audible sigh, the Hare grabs my hand with a resounding smack and accepts my help. Damn it! Everything hurts right now. Are you okay? Not really. It takes every ounce of restraint within me to keep myself from hugging him then and there. For one, I know Keisuke isn't the type to appreciate that kind of overly public display of affection. Maybe every now and again when no one else can see, if only for the thrill of fearing we might get caught. But surrounded by all these people? Worse still, they might think that I'm taking pity on him, and if there's one thing he doesn't deserve after all this, it's pity. You did great, Keisuke. I hope you know that. I don't really feel like I did. I've never had my confidence so thoroughly dashed into a million pieces before. I wish I could say it was humbling, but I'm not really in the place for that kind of self-reflection at the moment. Fuck, I really didn't mean to. God, no, stop it. This is the same thing I was doing before the match. I won't pity him. I refuse. We both did our best. At least we can take pride in that, right? Pride is a little beyond me right now. I willingly stooped to the level of mind games and manipulation in an effort to beat you, only to get beaten myself more thoroughly than ever before. The sacrifice was not worth it. So, I was right. You really were keeping all that stuff secret so you could get to me when you used it. Yes, I'm sorry. I offer no excuse. I don't know why, but you saying that like it only makes me feel worse. I'm so conflicted about the whole thing. I doubt I'll be able to think clearly on that matter for a while. To begin with, the adrenaline and the exhaustion certainly do not help with rational thought. Not to mention the fact that I don't think I'll be able to think rationally on this all regardless. It It's too emotional of an issue for me in the first place. We should probably head out. I'm sure the others are waiting. I suppose. Crap. Things are really awkward between us right now. We walk out together in silence, and the entire time I am holding my breath and counting the steps until we reach our friends so I can get rid of this strange mood looming over me. Saya, Shoichi, Aki, and Jun quickly swarm around us once Keisuke and I go through the door, all of them staring at us in a mix of glee, shock, and awe. You guys! That was amazing! Hey there, Sai-chan. How much of the match did you see? I got here about halfway through the third set. Yes, it was like you were all going zoom, and then the balls were all going zoom, and the Keisuke song kept running after them all fast and hitting them back, and was like, sure, you wouldn't get them. It was awesome! What he said. What about that was awesome? I got trounced harder than I ever have before in my life. It was pathetic. There was nothing pathetic about it. You did way better than could be expected in that situation. What situation? Sure, I may have won a set, but other than that, this was the worst result I've ever had against Nico. I mean, seriously, 6-2, 6 games to 1. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up too much over it. Even we were shocked. I haven't seen Nico play that way in forever. In what way? Are you kidding? He looked exactly like he did back when he was still the #1 player in our age group. Nico was always that dominating in his matches back then. If anything, it's the last 3 or 4 years that have been weird for him. Like an extended off season. I don't think you were using that word right, Sayane. Am I? Nah, never mind. I see. I suppose it would make sense for me not to remember it that well. I wasn't as serious about tennis before middle school. Still, my point is that you should give yourself a little more credit. No one could have predicted Nico would go off like that. Yeah, I still can't describe it all that well. The whole thing feels like a blur. My body started moving on its own. If anything, I guess I was just happy? In a way. It's been a while since I had that much fun playing tennis again. I know it sounds silly. It's something I notice myself too. But even if you notice that you're not having fun, that doesn't mean there's something you can do to fix that. But once I get in the groove like that, I just did. I was having fun, no matter what happened. Just getting to play tennis, that's fun. Getting to challenge myself and see how well I could do was fun. Fun? Huh? To be honest, I'd forgotten what it felt like almost completely. Like, I know that's how things used to be for me, and I did get close to that sensation a couple of times this past year, but I never really got in. It's a very difficult feeling to describe. It's like everything is going well for me. I feel so euphoric and invincible. Like I can't make any mistakes. My body feels lighter, faster and stronger than ever. My reflexes are dialed to 11. My mind gets so much clearer. Just thinking about it, it's a little frightening to think that so much can change just like that. It truly came out of nowhere. Once I felt like my back was up against the wall and I stopped caring about how Keisuke would feel, it just happened. Fair enough. I suppose I'll have to start inputting that kind of unpredictability into my calculations, huh? Yeah, right. Like anyone could prepare themselves for that. I think you're taking this far too seriously. All at once, Keisuke's eyes glaze over. He looks me up and down, but his expression gives away nothing. His eyes suddenly devoid of any warmth. Uh-oh. You, of all people, should know better than to say that. What? No, I didn't mean... Yeah, whatever. I don't really care what you meant right now. I think I need to be alone so I could cool down. Keisuke dismisses my attempt to explain myself with a sigh and a wave of his hand, instead electing to walk away. I'm caught completely by surprise, staring motionless as he leaves, unable to come up with anything to say in response. And I don't seem to be the only one, since no one says anything. Everyone seemingly is too gobsmacked by Keisuke snapping like this that they react similarly to me. It is only once the hair has completely disappeared from view that someone finally speaks up. The hell? What's up with him? I've never seen Keikun like that. Did something happen?
Maybe he's still upset after losing. I know I wouldn't be feeling great right now if I were him either.
That makes sense. I agree. We should probably let Keisuke-san be for a little while. That was still way too much for a harmless little comment, if you ask me. He's blowing things way out of proportion. I can't say anything to that. I can imagine why Keisuke would be upset. I said it without thinking, but I didn't intend for it to sound like that. You're taking it too seriously? What the hell did I even say? This is Keisuke I'm talking about. Even I didn't know of the circumstances. I know he's the kind of guy to take everything he does seriously. He wouldn't even consider doing something if he's not serious about it. But more than that, I know why tennis is so important to him. I know of what's been going on with him and his family lately. That was a careless, boneheaded thing to say. God, this is frustrating. I'm gonna head to the front desk to report my match results. I'll see you guys in a bit. We can go with you. No, thanks. No, I'll be fine. I'll catch you guys later. But I also need to report... I don't bother to listen to what Sai-chan has to say, instead electing to book it while I still have the chance. Cowardly? Probably. But I need some space right now, too. Not only do I still need to think about everything that just happened during my match with Keisuke and decide how I feel about this whole stunt, but I now need to think about all of this. In addition to also preparing for my match against Tanabe. Fucking hell. This is a nightmare. After leaving the competition's venue, I wandered around for a while looking for Keisuke. I thought it wouldn't take me long to find him, but in reality, the hair is a lot quicker on his feet than I expected, having completely disappeared by the time I went after him. Because of that, I walked around the outskirts of the venue at first, circling the area in a search for the hair. As the minutes stretched into hours, however, I began veering further and farther away. It also didn't help that, as the adrenaline began to leave my system, my body grew heavier and sore. I must have overdone it during my match against Keisuke. At some point, I decided to stop by a nearby place to get some street food in my system once I realized I was getting a bit late to head back and try to have lunch with everyone. Eventually, I wound up in a park halfway between the tournament's venue and our hotel. Not that I expected to find anything in here, but I simply had no other idea of where to go. Deciding that I could at least sit down to clear my head, I walked around the place, looking for a calm spot to relax for a bit. If I kept wandering around without taking some time for myself, I'm sure to regret it when the time comes for my last match of the day. But maybe fate, luck, or whatever it is you want to call it, decide to have some fun at my expense. Because as soon as I decided to give up in my search for my boyfriend, I spot him sitting on the grass, in a hidden nook behind a few trees. It is only by a complete chance that I even managed that feat. If I hadn't been looking for a secluded spot for myself and merely continued walking by, I never would have. Deciding to take it easy, I walk up to the hare and take a seat right next to him. Keisuke looks up at me as if to check the identity of this sudden intruder, but quickly looks away once he realizes it's me. Hey there. Hi. Still not in a talkative mood, huh? That's cool. I can work with that. It sure was tough finding you. You have no idea how much I had to walk. I was about to give up too. Sorry. Did you swing by the hotel? I see you got changed and everything. Yeah. I walked around aimlessly for a bit. Before I noticed it, I was back at the hotel, so I took a bath, get changed, and left the place again. How come? I don't know. Like I said, I ended up here without thinking of it. No. I mean, how come you left? If you wanted to be alone and clear your head, wouldn't that be the best place to be? Keisuke sighs, hugging his knees and leaned forward to rest his chin on them. I decide to let the silence hang over us for a while, not wanting to rush them to answer. I was planning to get back to cheer for you. I just happened to take a detour on the way. That is all. Is that so? Well, there's still about an hour before my match, so it's no rush. Is it really okay for you to be saying that? Shouldn't you be back at the arena at least? You'll be fine. I know I wouldn't be able to rest easy if I didn't talk to you first anyway. This way, it's much better for me. I see. I decide to scoot a little closer, up until the point that my body is barely brushing up against the side of Keisuke's. The hair twitches slightly at the contact, but otherwise doesn't do or say anything about it, allowing my intrusion into his personal space. I look at him for a while, trying to figure out the words to say. By the way, I'm really sorry for... Don't. The apology that I've been mulling over for a few hours now gets promptly shot down before I can even begin to get the words out. I flap my mouth uselessly, unable to think of an appropriate response. Maybe Keisuke is still mad after all. But instead, after a long, drawn-out sigh, Keisuke turns his head, properly looking at me in the eye for the first time since I got here. Don't apologize when I'm the one being unreasonable. Don't take blame for something that isn't your fault. But, Nico, I mean it. Stop. I know I was an ass. I was frustrated and embarrassed that I overreacted. I know exactly what you meant. I shouldn't have snapped at you. I'm the one who's sorry. Oh. This has gone a lot more smoothly than expected. Now I'm stunned for a completely different reason. I don't know what to say. That's fine. The hare smiles, the warmth in his blue eyes promptly melting away the anxiety that I'd been feeling for a while now. My body finally relaxes and I lie back on the grass, taking a deep breath. Are you okay? You seem to be on your last legs. And whose fault is that? Sorry about that too. Would you mind me asking? Ask what? Why were you so upset? I mean, I know how important tennis is to you and everything, but there seemed to be something more. Oh, so you caught on to that. Well, yeah, even for you that was a bit too out of nowhere. The last time I saw you get that angry at someone was when Shoichi pushed you around after your loss to Yuya-kun during the prefecturals. And even then, I couldn't even call that unprompted. I was a bit jealous. Jealous? Of what? Sitting back up, I peer at Keisuke's face, trying to get some hint as to what he's talking about. But the hare's expression is just as unreadable as always, leaving me only guessing as to his meaning. I can just about see the gears moving in his head as he comes up with a proper response, like he always does. Because of that, I am content to sit, watch, and wait until he speaks up again. I don't really feel that way. About tennis, I mean. What way? The happiness. You were talking so much about how happy you were to be playing. How it was so much fun. How you didn't even care about anything else more. You were simply having fun seeing how far you could push yourself. I never felt that. I've had times where my body felt lighter, where I thought I was doing better than usual. But nothing quite as euphoric or world-shattering as what you described. So I was jealous. Oh. I don't know what to say about that. To begin with, is that really something to be jealous about? I've always known I was a bit odd in that regard. Should you really be taking what I say so seriously? Is that really that big of a deal? Not everyone feels joy about what they do. That's normal. Too relatable. Me at my job. Sure, I'm well aware of that. Some things are merely work. Some things you do because you are passionate about them. But the thing is, part of the reason I gravitated so much towards you was because I felt identified. You did? Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard the way that Mizuguchi-san or, hell, even Urata talk about their sports? It's very clear, even if they try to hide it, that they ooze passion and love for what they do from their every pore. Weird way of putting it, but okay. Then Kobayashi-kun joined up with us, and guess what? He was the same. In this group of people, no matter how different they all are from each other, the one thing they have in common is their passion. They all love what they do so clearly and sincerely. I've always felt jealous of that. Compared to them, I'm not like that. I've never felt that kind of passion. Sure, I know there are lots of professionals who go into a field because they're good for it, or good at it actually, or because they feel it's their only choice, or because it's a stable paycheck. That's me. Hello, I'm Dirk the Panda, a salary man. Also, I never said hi to Inugami, and yeah, I hope the concert was fun. But have a good night, Eclipse. I saw your message there. And yes, the purple does suit Keisuke. Sorry if I missed your message earlier, Eclipse, and you're not here. Maybe you could see in the VOD. Oops. But yeah, this is one of my favorite outfits on Keisuke, by the way. So I agree with you, Kurishikudo. Kurishikudo. Interesting name to say. Anyway. Sure, I know there are lots of professionals who go into a field because they're good at it, or because they feel it's their only choice, or because it's a stable paycheck. I'm not a child. I know everyone can do what they love. Or I know not everyone can do what they love. Sometimes, a hobby has to remain a hobby. But out of everyone in the group, I felt that you were the only one like me. You were always serious about tennis in your own way. It was clear you were good, but from the moment I met you and up until today, I never felt that kind of passion from you. That made it easier for me to be around. It made me not feel like the odd man out as much. Except I was wrong. Once you got going during our match, and then from the way you talked about it after, I could tell, clear as day, you were the same as the others. You're someone who radiates passion for tennis. And from what Urata said, you always have been. Which means the Nico I know was... what? A phase? I was back to being the odd one out. The only one who doesn't really belong. Compared to all of you, I'm some boring guy who's overly serious about everything. He's only kinda good at tennis, but is passionate about nothing. Realizing that hurt, and I lashed out. It was stupid and immature, and I'm sorry. Shit, I forgot to change that. Honestly, this last few sentences, though, have hit hard for me, because I kind of feel like that with some of the newer, with my friend group that I have now. Like, they're passionate about games and stuff, and are very into things and whatnot, and whatever it is. And yeah, I'm trying not to use the sad, emotional face to, you know, be like, well, woe's me, don't need pity, like Nico said. But yeah, nah, it's like, I feel like I've lost any sort of like passion for things like that. I'm kind of in this spiral to find footing. And yeah, I'm kind of like that in Keisuke. Super chat. Like, I'm trying to find what I am. And in some ways, some things feel kind of hidden. In that, like, for him, it's music, being a rock star. And for me, I don't know what that is for me. What is that thing I really want? Maybe it's Eurovision. But at the same time, it's so off from everything else. At least with Keisuke, it's like he has June with music. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Crunchy Munchy? Crunchy Munchy. Oh my gosh. $15? Oh my gosh. Well, you're way too kind, Crunchy. $15 saying this is getting good. Honestly, though, that's why I just had a little rant about it. I don't want to rant too much. I'm gonna take away from the scene. But, oof. I feel like I really relate to him here. I'm sorry. I couldn't have even imagined this. I didn't know you had this much of a complex about it. I've noticed a few times before that you were insecure about your skills, but you always took everything so seriously that I didn't think much of it. After all, how do you even quantify something as subjective as passion? I'm stumped. I know I should come for Keisuke, but I have no idea how. I don't know what to say. You don't feel like you belong? You have to be kidding. Do you seriously feel that out of place? You're an important friend to all of us, Keisuke. Surely you should know that by now, right? Well, yeah. For now. What does that mean? Nico, you four might all be seniors, but I'm not. You are all passionate about what you do. I am not. But it doesn't mean you are all at the top of the worlds you compete in, which I am not. This is basically the summing up of my high school experience. Being the backup, always being like second best in tournaments and events, while all the people I hung around went to like D1 colleges or played intercollegiate like at university and went on to bigger and better things, and then I just kind of faded. Yeah. Like one player I played with last year made it to like the national championship last year, and then won 2 years in a row before that, and yeah. Yep. Honestly, it's nuts. It's like I wish I had the same passion like I thought I did, and then just kind of fell to the wayside when I wasn't at the top or wasn't competing with them. And then sometimes I don't know if I wanted to be more competitive or not. When I initially was, I really wanted to be there, wanted the status. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to talk about this without going into a huge rant, or save it for afterwards, but yeah, I have a very mixed relationship with volleyball and sports in general. Like, it still affects me to this day with feeling this need to be validated through, being a high player, but never getting that really ever. And like the rare times I did were very like second best or being like the backup to somebody else, or just kind of being there, not being the one. And yeah, I was like, that hunger kind of burnt out when I lost too many chances. Like I got impatient and or more just kind of exhausted, just tired. I don't know if Keisuke feels tired or if he just feels like he's out of place emotionally. Oh, sorry, did not mean to hit save. But I don't know where his head's at with it, but we might be in different places, but honestly, I could have like a whole rant just chatting type of stream about that, but this is a tennis ace reading with occasional comments, and I am really liberally using the occasional comments. Oh, thanks, guys. But yeah, I don't want to have too much pity for it. This is just kind of my experience, and I relate. I feel like at times, sometimes people would take too much pity on me for, you know, being like not good and just kind of, you know, kind of look at me as kind of like the kind of pathetic. But yeah, anyway, let's get back into this. But this part, you are all at the top of the worlds you each compete in, which I'm not. You can't, and other than Urata, you all have plans to move far away to pursue your own passions. And I do not. Well, that's all superficial stuff. Is it? Keisuke looks me in the eye, his stare so pointed and sharp that it makes me flinch. I'm aware that I sound ridiculous. It's stupid to think so much about this kind of thing in the first place. I know that if I were to bring it up, I'd be yelled at for even thinking about it. But I can't help but wonder if all these relationships of mine have an expiration date. What? I'm sorry, I am like trying to resist going into emotional. I know we're gonna have the big finals after this, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be in the same headspace to talk about this. Anyway, maybe thoughts later. You will all leave and do great things, reach new heights, and push new boundaries in your chosen fields. And even Urata, the only one who isn't, has also chosen not to. By comparison, I'm the only one who will be forced to stay behind. You can't say that. You don't know what your own limits are yet. If you keep working hard, you will... Do you honestly believe that? Keisuke's question causes my train of thought to come to a screeching halt. I want to object. I want to cheer him up. But I'm also aware of the fact that I can't. I'd be lying if I said I'd believe it. Yeah, I figured as much. I knew I couldn't have been the only one to realize it during our match. It's not just that I lack passion, Nico. Like I said, plenty of people become professionals in their chosen field banking solely on their skill. Passion isn't an absolute requirement. Sure, it might enable you to push yourself harder than most, but passion without talent and skill is pointless. But I have neither of those things. I work as hard as I can because it's my only choice. If I can't become big in a very public, very respected field, my odds of escaping the future my family set up for me are 0. So I clung to tennis all these years. I picked it on a whim, without thinking much of it, simply deciding that it would be my ticket out. But I'm neither passionate nor talented. Compared to most, I've had the best possible foundation. Easy access to coaches, trainers, equipment courts, you name it. And yet, despite the most absolutely ideal environment, I'm merely average. Someone like me isn't on the level of someone like you. I'm not the kind of person who can turn those dreams into reality. The odds were very small to begin with. The number of professional tennis players that actually earn enough to be independent is shockingly low, after all. Well, yeah, but... Come on, Nico. Don't look at me like that. How else am I supposed to look at you? Look at all that you just said to me! So, what are you going to do now? Nothing at all. Huh? Don't get me wrong. I might not be the kind of talented idiot who manages to push themselves past their limits and turn their dreams into reality through sheer effort. But I am the kind of serious idiot who keeps going, even when they know they have zero chance at becoming anything more than they already are. Besides, how many Japanese kids join a school sports club actually expect to become professional athletes? While I'm sure there is a fair amount, they would still certainly be the minority. So, you'll keep playing? Yes, I have no reason to stop. It's not like I dislike tennis. I find it enjoyable. I'm merely aware I don't have what it takes to turn it into more than a hobby. I don't like it. It sounds like you've considered it all carefully and came up with a decision that is best for you. But I still don't like it. Especially the part about thinking your relationships have an expiration date. It's not like you need to be aiming to be a professional to be with us. Friendships aren't about requirements like that. True. That's the thing. If you feel like you're not adequate with your friends or why are they friends with me? This line right here. It isn't about requirements. I thought I was going to say second part, but if I would add to it, it isn't about requirements. It's like the unspeakable, the uncontrollable variables that really play into it. Sure, there can be ways how you meet, but beyond that, it's just you find interests, you mesh, or maybe you have things where it's just similarly passionate about things. Like, I guess to make it optimistic about me is like I kind of had that with like two of my friends like the other day where we talked about, I don't know if I should like mention names, but they kind of know who they are, and we've kind of had this back and forth like from time to time before. But it's like one of them is very big, just a really good gamer in general, trying to think of like what the type of game is, but a very combat oriented type of game like that. What is it, MMO, I think, like that, where it's like story based. And then another friend who is a very good voice actor. Well, that probably gave it away. It's not me. I'm not the very good voice actor. A different very good voice actor. But yeah. But like, yeah, the two of them, it's like I met the latter, and then I met the first one. Like, we somehow kind of got through this connection of things somehow. But yeah, eventually we all, kind of befriended through that. And then we kind of stuck around just because we just seem to enjoy each other. And even though I felt like, man, I'm not really much of a gamer person, I love, or insane with voice acting in some ways or whatnot, I just enjoyed seeing those two being passionate about what they do and hanging around for it to watch with them. It didn't mean that, hey, I didn't like or was disinterested. I guess it's just that it can go beyond just having common things or being good at them. Like, sure, I would probably suck at certain games or certain types of voices. 'Cause, yeah, this person also loves to sing. And I'm like, if I try to do that type of singing, yeah. But like things like that where it's like, I have my own passions too that I share. Like, obviously Eurovision and, sometimes visual novels, but also, yeah, I think just kind of musically like that, and just some of the voice acting stuff, and just general internet antics. Friendships aren't about requirements like that. Sorry, I can tell from your face that I've dumped a lot on you. I'm not sure what to say. That's all. I don't blame you. Oh, I guess I forgot to say I'm also kind of passionate about like simulator games, like the truck sim game, City Skylines. I was like, what else is there about me? Hard to be put on the spot. Do you really think we have an expiration date? That's a difficult question to answer. It shouldn't be. The answer should be no. Obviously, I know what I want and what I hope for, but I'm also aware reality is rarely that kind. Of course, I'll be more than happy to be proven wrong, but I won't smile, lie, and say that the odds aren't against us. I know you're the type of person to be logical and reasonable, but I really hate your reason right now. You shouldn't think like that. It's painful to hear you talk that way. I don't know what to tell you. I've never been the kind of man to blindly hope for the best. Nor am I the type of person to try my hand at something when I think there's no chance of success. Maybe it's my upbringing talking, but I'm not capable of taking risks like that. Everything I do after careful consideration of the chances of success, the possible consequences, among other factors. Yeah, I know. We've talked about this before. Your way of thinking stinks. Offense intended. My head hurts. Sorry. We should probably put a stop to this conversation. But we can talk more about it later. I'm not saying we shouldn't discuss it. If you think there's more to be said, then we'll do so. But I doubt this is something we can get to the bottom of in less than an hour, right? Probably. And you have your competition to worry about. We've been here for a while. I should probably get you back before Mizuguchi-san tries to take my head for making you late. Do you promise we'll talk about this again? I do, Nico. Relax. Keisuke turns to look at me, getting on his knees and leaning forward, rapidly closing the distance between us and planting a kiss on my lips. The sudden gesture silenced me, causing my panicked thoughts to freeze all at once. Instead, I focused on the feeling of his soft lips on mine, of his hand cupping and brushing my cheek, the sweet aroma of soap and perfume on his fur. There. Does that help? Somewhat. Good. Keisuke gets back up on his feet. Only then I do realize he'd been sitting on a handkerchief this entire time. The hair picks it up, shaking any debris or dirt from it before folding it up and sticking it back into his pocket. Does he always carry one of those? God, that's so like him. Come on, up. Keisuke offers me a hand, and I grasp it without a second thought. Your carriage awaits, my prince. It would not do for me to make you late on your big day. Oh my god. This is so fun. Going to the tennis finals and being like, your destination awaits you, my lord. My prince. I was quoting a fairy tale. To the best of my memory, at least. Okay, and what would my carriage even be? Isn't it obvious? I'm calling a car. You mean a taxi? No, I mean a car. Wait, but we've talked about this, remember? Alex may have not come with, but there's no way my family wouldn't send other people to keep an eye on me at all times. They've probably been following me wherever I went. It's the only reason I'd be allowed to walk around Tokyo. That's a little horrifying. And uncomfortable. We've kissed in public a few times already. Remember? What if they saw that? I suppose. I'm so used to it by now that I think nothing of it. Hang on, let me just make the call. Just one of them pops out of the bush. My liege. Yeah. I'm not surprised that you want so badly to get away. This is how it feels being with my family, where it's just like, yeah, I don't have like a leash or, obviously don't have any sort of limo, whatever, rich people, stuff like that. But it always feels like, well, family's always around if you want. But I'm like, I just need my space. Don't stop inviting me to stuff all the time. I've seen you like every week now, and I'm like, I just want to be on my own. This is also incredibly creepy. Ugh. Now I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. Yoink! After having been brought back to the arena, Keisuke and I endured a very intense lecture from Sai and Shoichi, both separately and together. I could barely get a word in edgeways. Thankfully, even those two were bound to run out of steam at some point. It just sucked that it took over 10 minutes before they did. As the time was nearing for my match to start, however, I eventually parted with my friends and walked into my court, repeating the same ritual that I began establishing during my match with Keisuke. From there, Tanabe and I both walk up to the net after a few minutes of warm-up, looking to the Empire to perform the coin toss, with each of us calling aside and waiting for it to determine the first to serve. Tails, player Tanabe, will you serve first or second? I believe I shall go first, then. Nodding, the umpire climbs his chair, getting in position so we can start the match. I began on my way to our starting positions, but I'm quickly called out by Tanabe before I have the chance to. Good luck, Nico. Son. I'm looking forward to our match. And... Oh, this is interesting. I don't think we've seen this before. Tanabe is still feeling awkward after that conversation from earlier today. So much has happened that I completely forgot about it. Honestly, this update's been chunky. Shuichi sure was pretty filled too with this, but the Keisuke version, my goodness, they really packed. Yeah, same to you. Once everything is settled, we can finally actually make our way to our marks. Although I'm usually all for the pre-match pleasantries, I'm trying my best to concentrate and remember that feeling I had during my match with Keisuke. Already I can feel my senses sharpening like they had back then. I close my eyes, taking a few deep breaths and getting rid of all the unnecessary thoughts. There's no point focusing on anything else right now. Anything that happens after the match comes after. Right now, there is only one thing that matters. I absolutely refuse to give Tanabe the satisfaction of taking me for a ride yet again. My pride couldn't bear if I got humiliated again. This is my final year. I will make things different. Competitor Mishimaya, this is your 30-second call. Are you ready to begin? The umpire's call serves as the alarm that I have no more time to center myself. However, once I open my eyes, I feel much lighter. I lock eyes with Tanabe, immediately tightening my grip on my racket and getting into a serve-receive position. Tanabe tosses the ball up high, hitting it hardly towards my side with a sharp angle shot that aims precisely for the service line. I quickly dash after it and hit the ball back as hard as I can to the empty side of the court. Right away, we are locked into a fast-paced rally from the very start of the match. Thankfully, Tanabe's play style is essentially a more refined version of what Keisuke does. While his overall parameters are almost all higher, the general rhythm and strategies are quite similar. As such, not only the dozens of practice matches I've had with Keisuke over the last couple of months, but also the one I had with him just this morning served as the perfect training for me. I am able to react and respond quickly and effectively to Tanabe thanks to both that experience and my own heightened senses. I began feeling a confidence that I hadn't felt in a long time when facing off against the Red Panda. Tanabe had haunted my thoughts for so long that I had realized that the fear and anxiety was actually keeping me from performing my best. If I'd struggled to pull out my A game against any other players due to general struggles during my rut, that feeling was magnified even further with him specifically. But now I feel so light. 15 love. After a grueling rally that went way past 10 shots, I managed to send over a cross-court topspin shot that aims a deep for the open side of Tanabe's court. The Red Panda had been running around the court frantically in an attempt to keep up while his shot variety to try and to stabilize me again gained back his advantage. Fortunately, the one thing that Keisuke does have him beat on at is his speed and footwork. Since I'm usually the kinds of shots I get used to against Keisuke earlier, Tanabe, who struggles a lot to reach them, is at an even further disadvantage. If he can't get to the ball fast enough to properly prepare a swing and make good contact, it's hard for him to hit the ball as precisely or strongly as he'd like. Once I realize that, I can't help but crack a smile while I wipe my face with my shirt sleeve. It'll work. The training I did with Keisuke and the countermeasures I came up with this morning will absolutely work against Tanabe. Of course, I shouldn't allow myself to get cocky, but right now, I'm at a way better pace than I have been in years. Right now, I'm feeling so great. Seeing Tanabe frown and start to share and fiddle at his racket strings makes me even have to restrain a smirk. It's been years since I've seen him get frustrated during a match, let alone so early into it. 30 love. With play restarting, the Red Panda sends out a shallow slice serve that seeks to skip away from me instead. Too predictable. Our rally isn't quite as long this time, with me being able to clinch the point while he attempted to force a shot through the edge of the court and accidentally struck the ball out instead. Great. If I can keep putting this kind of pressure on him, his number of errors will increase. Even if I have the advantage now, I can't allow our rallies to continue like the first one did. There's no way my body can hold up for an entire match like that. I was already too fatigued before we even started. But still, even if I'm doing a lot better than expected, it would be impossible for me to completely shut down someone like Tanabe. He's no Keisuke. Even though his footwork isn't as good, he more than makes up for it otherwise. The Red Panda manages to win back 2 points in a row, leaving us tied at 30 all. Still, if I can manage to steal away the first serve of the match from him, that would be huge. After going back and forth on a deuce 4 times, I finally managed to push my way through and smash the ball down into his court, when a very brief misstep on his part caused him to miss the contact with the ball and resulted in him hitting the ball slow and high into my court. Ooh, get ready to smash. Game Mishimaya, 1-0. Alright, that gives me a little bit more room to work with. I take a few deep breaths, already noticing how the air seems to get stuck in my throat. Is this seriously the very first game of the match? I better hope that I manage to push my advantage further, otherwise this might get bad. Despite my best attempts, however, the pace of the match doesn't slow at all. Even while I'm trying my best to keep Tanabe down, our very next rally is back to being suffocatingly long. As I run around after the ball, hit after hit, The desperate gasp for breath feel as if I'm being slowly choked out. Every breath I take makes my throat and lungs burn. Game and first set won by Mishimaya, 6-4. I finally managed to drive the ball past him and win the point, but Tanabe fought me every step of the way. Although I'm able to stay generally ahead of him for the first time in years, each and every point feels like its own final battle. I close my eyes and try to take a deep breath before heading for my bed. Well, as soon as the air starts to enter my lungs, I start to cough violently. All of a sudden, it's like my entire body is screaming at me. I become acutely aware of my own heart rate. It's so suddenly pounding so hard in my chest, it feels like it might explode. My throat feels raw and as if it were on fire, making me cough. Again, every time I try to breathe, I pull myself together. Crap. This is really bad. I've been so focused on the game and my own preference and my performance that I didn't notice any of the warning signs before my body was trying to give me. In fact, I've been ignoring all of them, intent on pushing myself to my limits so I can finish this game off as soon as possible. Instead, I've gone so far past my limits that I can't even keep myself on my feet, falling to my knees on the ground and clutching myself while I cough. Nico! Nico, are you okay? Mishimaya-kun, can you stand? Do you need to call for medical assistance? Because of my blurry vision, I didn't even notice Tanabe rushing to me until he's already crouching by my side and trying to get me to lean on him. I tried to respond, but the struggle to catch my breath makes it incredibly difficult. Not only that, I'm beginning to feel cramps all over my body. I need... Here, have some of my water. You're completely soaked from top to bottom. You must be dehydrated right now. Before he's even done talking, I find myself grabbing his bottle and desperately downing it, nearly choking as it goes down my throat, giving me the sensation of swallowing hundreds of needles. I'm so close to puke right now that it's not funny. However, it helps to quiet down the coughing, giving me a chance to finally catch my breath. Fuck! My whole body just pushed down hard on the brakes. I went from feeling so well to barely being able to stay conscious. What the hell am I supposed to do like this? What are you feeling? Can you stand? Here. Let us take you to the bench. The umpire's already come down from his chair, trying to help me get back on my feet, along with Tanabe, and dragging me to the bench. I flop down onto the cool wooden bench, feeling my entire body give way at the finally getting the chance to rest. We'll have someone examine you soon. They're on their way right now. Nico, your heart is beating alarmingly fast. How could you push yourself this far? We might have to have you retire from the match considering your condition. No! I try to protest as weakly as I can, coughing a bit as the words catch on my throat. You will be examined, but if the doctor decides that you're in no condition to continue, you will be retired from the match. I'm fine. I just didn't realize how much I was straining myself. I just need to take it easy for a bit and not push myself as much for the rest of the game. I don't like this either. Nico, I don't like this either, Nico, but your heart is racing so hard that I can feel it by simply carrying you. And you look like as if you were about to vomit then and there. I'll be fine. You can barely stand. Get off my case, Tanabe. This has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with... I see. Very well. I shall return to my own bench. You do what you think is best for you and your body. God fucking damn it. Why now? Why? I know I'm not used to playing this hard anymore, but why couldn't I at least keep it up for a little bit longer? If I could manage this for one more set, I'd have an actual decent chance of winning. Fuck. Instead, I am forced to sit back and have a wet towel draped over my forehead and around my neck while a doctor comes over to check on me. He asked me several questions while I also checking my heart rate, measuring my blood pressure, and making me drink lots of fluids, among other things. I give him short answers, insistently trying to convince him to let me get back on the game while the man frowns and ignores it. The whole process is a lot longer and more frustrating than I would like. Just the evaluation itself feels as if it's taking forever. Let me play right now. The only thing I need is to be able to play. You were lucky. You seem to have been very dehydrated, but if you didn't go so far as to develop into heat exhaustion, that plus the excessive fatigue could account for the symptoms you displayed. I can allow you to continue playing, but I would still strongly urge you to retire from the match. It's fine. I'll just have to avoid pushing myself too hard, right? Besides, this is the finals. Retiring like this, especially when I'm winning, would be pathetic. Are you sure? Yes, I'm feeling much better already. Very well. But if you start feeling dizzy, nauseous, or lightheaded again, you will be made to retire. Yeah. You don't have to tell me twice. I know how this works. Still, at least I get to continue playing. The crowd has been muttering and talking to one another quite loudly, to the point I had a hard time tuning them up. The crowd had been muttering and talking to one another quite loudly, to the point I had a hard time tuning them out up until now, but their voices only seem to increase with volume now that I've been given the all clear to keep playing. We shall now resume play. Tanabe and I both head to our respective positions on the court, with him being due to serve first during the second set. The first thing I notice once I get back on my feet and start moving is just how heavy my body feels. It's like my limbs are made out of lead. My breathing is normal now and my heart has settled down a fair deal. My vision's no longer dark and blurry and my head feels fine, but... this is going to be a huge problem. How am I going to move properly like this? No, focus, Nico. Even if I can push myself quite as much, I still need to get back into the proper headspace. Can I go? Yeah, please do. Crap, I'm focusing so hard on how I'm feeling and trying to get back in the groove that I'm not actually paying proper attention to what's going on. Once I give the all clear, Tanabe hits a flat serve to the edge of the court, making me dash to reach the ball. Immediately, I notice my reaction time being slower than before, as well as my overall speed. When I do reach the ball and hit it back, I can't impart as much power as I'd like to the ball, which instead flies on a shallow arc towards Tanabe's court, Far from the very edge that I was aiming for. 15 love. The red panda hits the ball back at the open side of my court, scoring the point even as I try my hardest to reach it. Damn. This is bad. My body really isn't cooperating at all. I used up all my stamina and then some during my match with Keisuke and my first set. Not only am I not able to maintain the same pace as before, but I can't even get into the pace I am used to. Tanabe stares at me for a while, watching me as I head back behind the baseline and take position, ultimately sighing and moving himself so play can restart. What? Are you going to act like you're disappointed now? Screw you! Don't you look at me just because I'm struggling a little. Don't look down on me like that. Like with the last point, I struggle to find a decent, sustainable rhythm, struggling to keep up as my heavy body refuses to move like I want it to. Through sheer grit, I managed to extend the rally a fair bit more than before, but even that isn't enough to keep me in the game. Now that he's able to fully operate like he wants without me being able to rely on my heightened reflexes to keep up, Tanabe's shot variety and accuracy are soon able to overwhelm me. I can neither anticipate his shots or react fast enough to reach them early enough to put myself in a good position. As a result, I'm struggling to even do anything in this game. Try as I might to reverse the situation, the rest of the set continues in similar fashion, with Tanabe's variety of attacks, refined tactics, and brutally efficient style giving me no inch or quarter. Game Tanabe, 5-1. Fuck! This can't be! This is by far the worst set I've ever had against Tanabe before. To barely even be able to win a single game by the skin of my teeth, with my performance continuing to drop as the match continues, my exhausted body simply refuses to keep under the excessive strain I've placed on it. All my attempts to counterattack are swiftly shut down until eventually I lose all hope of recovery. Even in my mind, the only thing that had remained sharp is eventually overrun by panic and doubt. That is when I well and truly lose. Game, set, and match won by Tanabe. Count 4-6, 6-1, 6-0. Even the umpire's announcement of the match results barely sounds like anything more than a noise to me. Without acknowledging it in any way, I merely drag my feet towards my bench, beginning to put my things away and covering my head with a towel. I know it's rude to walk out without talking to your opponent and congratulating them, but I fear I don't have the capacity for it right now. I faintly hear my name being called by one of the officials, but that doesn't stop me from pulling my bags over my shoulder and making my way to the exit. I am, however, stopped before I can take more than a few steps, with my wrist being grabbed as I'm spun around from behind. I am met with the sight of the smaller red panda looking up at me with a complicated expression. Tanabe's eyes scan my face, and I can always see his brain trying to work out something to say. However, I quickly pull my hand away from him, not having the energy to wait a long time for words that might not even come out. Congratulations. I managed to squeak the word out as I once again tried to make my way outside. Nico, wait! Seriously, are you well? I'm fine, Takagi. Takagi? God. I'm fine, Takagi. Leave me alone. I don't even notice until his name leaves my lips that we've somehow started calling each other by our first names without honorifics again. For some reason, that realization bugs me far more than it should. Are you sure? I can help you out, or... You have to participate in the awards ceremony. So do you. I shrug. I really am in no condition to stand in front of a bench of people right now talking about how grateful I am to be presented with a runner-up trophy. It's not like any of it matters anyway. Anything other than winning the training trophy is just noise. It doesn't matter. You need to lie down. Doesn't that mean that you aren't? Well, after all, leave it, Tanabe. I speak out, cutting him off, almost pleading. Please let me leave. Stop making it a problem. Can't deal with this right now. My whole body hurts. My legs are starting to cramp already, and I can barely stay on my feet. It's become more than obvious that I pushed myself way too far. I desperately need to rest right now. Understood. Having seemingly finally got the message, Tanabe bids me farewell, turning around and heading back into the court where the tournament officials are already organizing the podium and trophy. From the corner of my eye, I could see the journalists rushing to the exit in an attempt to intercept me. After all, the runner-up leaving without a word and refusing to participate in the awards ceremony would likely make for interesting gossip to some particular brand of vultures. Thankfully, Keisuke and the others are hanging by the exit, ready to meet up with me and take me away. At the very least, I am thankful for that. I ignore all questions and requests for comments, instead making my way outside as my friends surround me. I don't even notice it at first, but Saya isn't even with us yet. Her match is probably still underway. After all, I lost so fast that she probably hasn't had the chance to finish hers. Pathetic. While I'm being escorted out, Coach rushes towards us, asking Keisuke and others to see me to the hotel while he sticks around to deal with the media and to congratulate Saya once her match, which seems to be nearing its end, is finally over. In response, Keisuke mentions he's already called a car and that it'll be waiting for us outside by the time we get there. He definitely thinks fast on his feet, I'll give him that. True to his word, the moment we get outside, there's an unmarked black sedan waiting for us, very trustworthy, waiting for us with a bowl and casual clothes waiting outside. The same one that had gotten Keisuke and I to a venue a couple of hours earlier. Once inside, I lean back, closing my eyes and letting the everything else disappear. Before I've noticed it, hours have passed. At some point, I become dimly aware that my bags have been packed for me and left waiting for us to check out. In the meantime, the first thing I did once we got back to the hotel was head into the bath and stay soaking in the hot water for a long time, feeling far too tired and sore to do much more than that. Shoichi tried to offer joining me to help me out, but Keisuke pointed out that he wasn't a guest at the hotel and therefore wouldn't be allowed. Instead, Keisuke joined me, washing my back and massaging my arms, legs, shoulders, and everywhere else that was sore. Not only was the gesture a lot nicer than expected, but the massage, as clumsy as it was, did help me feel markedly better. My muscles weren't in agony at the very least. Once Sai-chan and Coach came back from the venue, few words were exchanged between us as the rabbit restrained her glee over winning for my sake. Keisuke tried to offer to have his driver take us back home on the sedan, allowing us to bypass going back to the school at all, but I refused. I already felt awkward knowing they'd probably be keeping an eye on us for the entire time. A short ride is one thing, but I didn't want to spend hours in a car with a stranger like that. So, defeated, Keisuke conceded the point, but not before insisting on calling over a couple of bodyguards that had been keeping an eye on us to help load our bags back into the bus. Coach's face was absolutely priceless when he saw it happen. I wish he had snapped a picture of it. After that, the fatigue promptly caught up with me, and I passed out the moment my body hit the seat. I only woke up hours later when Saya shook me awake, much more gently than I would usually expect of her. Might add, and asked me if I needed any help getting off the bus. Finally! Why does it feel like this trip gets worse every time? It certainly was eventful. No, I don't mean the competition itself. I meant the actual trip. You know, being on the road for hours. Oh, of course you did. You do know that America is huge, right? Let me tell you about the traffic, Saya. You're not gonna love it. How long do you expect your trips to be when you're there? And that is just in my state alone. Oh, don't remind me. All right, you three. Get your bags out of the bus quickly so the poor driver can head home already. Yes, sir. And Ika-kun, if you need anything the next few days, please come talk to me. What is there to talk about? I suppose it'd be different too, yeah. Be difficult. Regardless, I'll have a few adjustments to your training regimen on Monday. Make sure you show up prepared for it. Seriously? That's it? You're only gonna be a little... seriously? That's it? Aren't you being a little insensitive here? The crocodile smiles, seemingly amused by me snapping at him. Would you prefer I continue trying to get you to talk? I figured you'd rather face forward and focus on what you can do to avoid something like this happening again, no? Ugh. I don't want to agree on a principle, but he's exactly not wrong. Or he's not exactly wrong. Either way, I trust that you all either arranged for transport home or were fine to go on your own. If you excuse me, I have to check if nothing was forgotten in the bus and start locking things up. Yes, sir. I'll see you all Monday. Saya and Keikun both nod meekly, bidding farewell to the crocodile as he disappears back into the bus to talk to the driver and do whatever it is he still needs to get done. As for our part, we do as we've been told and grab all our bags once again. It still is a little disconcerting to see how the absurd amount of crap Keikun brought with him. There's so much that I don't know how he can even carry it. Let me guess. Alex is waiting right outside with a car to help you carry all of this. Oh, you know me so well. At this point, if I didn't, you might as well throw your entire boyfriend away. Wait, what? At this point, if I didn't, you might as well throw... Oh, if you didn't know. Okay. I was like, why would you throw your entire boyfriend away with like your luggage? It's like, let me stuff my entire boyfriend and just throw it out. Anyway, I had planned on heading back home tonight, but I was thinking that maybe I could spend another night. All of this just because you're worried about me? Maybe. My pride wants to say no, but I will admit I would like the idea of sharing a bed with Keisuke tonight. It would certainly cheer me up. If it's okay with you. Of course. Well, I'm gonna head home while you two make your plans. See you guys later. We could give you a ride too if you want. Nah, my house is way out of the way. Besides, I need to stretch my legs a bit after sitting around for hours. You're the only person I know who could come back from such a long competition and still have energy to spare. I can't help it. That's how I am. You shouldn't try to change me. Wasn't trying to. Saya-chan turns to me, quickly wrapping her arms around my neck, rings him, just like starts choking him. That would be Saya, though. Saya-chan turns to me, quickly wrapping her arms around my neck in an awkward hug. Please don't beat yourself up too much, okay? You did a great job, you know? I'll try. Seemingly satisfied with my listless answer, Saya-chan pulls away, saying a brief farewell to Keisuke before walking off and heading back home. That certainly was quite nice of her. Saya-chan has her moments. What a cold way to talk about someone that's constantly looking out for you. It's not constantly. Keep telling yourself that. The two of us walk past the gate, and there's the man, quickly spotting Keisuke's traditional black limo along with Alexander standing outside of it. Yeah, anyway, the two of us walk past the gate, quickly spotting Keisuke's traditional black limo along with Alexander standing outside of it, arms crossed, waiting for us. Evening, Alex. The wolf nods, looking between the two of us briefly before speaking. Good evening. You had a good time at your trip, I hope. Should I go for more of a Russian accent? Because he is technically... Whatever. You could say that. There's been a brief change of plans. I know I said I would head back to the estate tonight, but I would like... Thank you for telling me the time, Siri. It is nighttime, yes. Thank you. Alexander, now you need to finish you off. You could say that. There's been a brief change of plans. I said that I would head back to the estate tonight, but I would like to spend one last night at Nico's place. I figured something like this might happen. So long as you've properly cleared it with him, I have no objections. Would you be so kind as to let the rest of my family know? It is my job to stand on the line of fire for you. You don't have to put it that way. Do not worry. Once I drop the two of you off, we shall head back to the estate and let them know of your decision. If I explain it as you being tired from the trip, they might look more charitably on it. How charitably? Not much, but enough. If it'll cause problems for you, maybe you really should head back home tonight. Oh, don't be silly. They'll get on my case whether I go back tonight or tomorrow. I might as well keep you company when you're feeling down. Yeah, but I've made my mind up, Nico. He's making his mind up. Sorry. You can be so stubborn sometimes. Still, I appreciate the gesture. Get inside. I would rather not stand outside in the middle of the night for too long. You and me both. I have to resist the urge to properly flopping onto the floor as soon as we walk through the door. Still, I at least have enough presence of mind to take off my shoes and drag my exhausted self past the door and into the house proper. I'm home, finally. Nikki, welcome home. Aki makes his way to... is it supposed to be Aniki? Shoot. Aniki, welcome home. Aki makes his way towards us, but I quickly walk past him and throw myself onto the couch, groaning in a mixture of relief and happiness, finally being able to lie down somewhere soft. You okay there? Should I call Alex back to help you up to your room? Yes, please. Sorry? Of course not. That would be mortifying. Really? Being carried is kind of fun. See? This sounds like a running gag. We are not having Alexander carry me to my room. Alexander's carrying him to his room. Absolutely not. Okay, fine. I ordered some takeout though, so at least sit up on it, or at least sit up in a bit. Yeah. Okay, fine. I ordered some takeout though, so at least sit up in a bit. You can't eat lying down like that. Watch me. He would. I'd rather not. Sounds messy. Anyway, I wasn't sure if Keisuke-san would spend the night or not, so I ordered enough for all of us. I figured that if he didn't, we'd put the leftovers in the fridge for tomorrow. Good boy. Please don't call me that. Oh, but you're such a good boy, Aki. I'll throw your portion away. I swear I'll do it. Jeez, relax. I'm kidding. Don't you laugh now. I can't help it. Still, thank you, Akiyoshi-kun. Sorry for the trouble. It's no trouble. If anything, you're the one being troubled, having to take care of my brother and all. No one's being taken care of here. No one's taking care of anyone here. Listen here, you... Bye! Aki ignores me, instead grabbing my bags and heading upstairs without another word. Is it too much to ask for some respect around here? Akiyoshi-kun really is a nice little brother. I wish I had one too. Don't. They'll ruin your life. You're in no position to be saying that to me. M2? Come on, sit up properly here. Lying on the couch all sprawled out like that is unsightly. You sound like my mom. She is a wise woman. Oh God, don't start kissing her ass now because you know what she does for work. You're my boyfriend. Be on my side. Yee, shirtless time. After having dinner, Aki, Keisuke, and I chatted for a little while. I pick up my food more than anything, not having much of an appetite to speak of, but also not wanting to be impolite. Eventually, the fatigue started to kick in, making it get harder and harder for me to stay alert and awake. Once he noticed me starting to doze off, Keisuke excused the both of us and essentially pushed me upstairs to my room. Not that I'm not thankful for the help. My whole body hurt so much that I wasn't looking forward to getting up the stairs on my own. We both undressed down to our underwear, with my flopping right into bed while Keisuke flicks the lights off before crawling under the covers with me. How are you feeling? Fine. Tired. I can imagine. Keisuke scoots closer, cuddling up to me and gently rubbing my back as he spoons me from behind. I could see this. Nico would be the little spoon. Usually I'd prefer to be the big spoon, but this is kinda nice in its own way. Nico, you're lying. You like being the little spoon, you. Besides, my arms are so sore right now that I don't know if I'd be able to do the rubbing. Focus on getting some rest. I'll be here for you if you need me. Thanks. I love you. I do too. Something warm and moist touches the back of my neck as I've realized that Keisuke he's kissed me there. He touched me with his lips. Under the covers, being enveloped by the warmth of Keisuke's body, which can be a bit of a furnace at times, and his gentle, affectionate rubbing on my back, it takes shockingly little time before I pass out. We did it! All right. So, that's the end of the Keisuke update. We're going to update the timestamp. There we go. What a nice reading. No breaks. Gonna try and do the Basket impression, which is not actually Basket's voice, but is my imaginary Basket impression. Hey guys, you've reached the current end of the Keisuke build. I hope you've enjoyed what you managed to play so far. As you guys may or may not already know, all development in Tennis Ace is possible thanks to all my amazing patrons and other supporters who make it possible for me to dedicate the time and work on the game, as well as commission the art for it. If you haven't already, and if you're able, maybe you can consider help to support us too. Just click here, and you'll be taken right to my Patreon page. Link is in the description. Once again, thank you all, and we'll see each other with the next demo. Also, link to the game in the description. I swear to God, I better have not deleted it. Okay, good. All right. Look at that. I am actually as exhausted as Nico in some ways. Maybe not like the sleepy type of tired, but just kind of that, I need a veg. Maybe eat some food. Again, I had dinner right before this stream, and now I want more dinner. This stream made me hungry. And I was wishing I could talk more about the whole thing about, you know, not feeling adequate enough with my friends or being the odd one out, but a bit tired for it. This might be something I might just do in a rant on stream, like a Twitch stream or something. Speaking of which, I would have done the joke of, oh, you could like check out, or we were going to raid somebody, but nah. But anyway, I have a Twitch. So if you want to check me just playing various games like Truck Sim, City Skylines, any other chill-ish games, sometimes I'll do Fortnite or whatever. But if you want to see a chill gamer like me who is typically low stakes, pretty much, I consider Fortnite low stakes. But yeah, if you want to typically see somebody play calmer games like that, or maybe even give the occasional Eurovision rant, I did my own Euro Dirk in preparation for the Eurovision Song Contest this year, which just happened last week. It was a fun experience. You can go check out my Twitch. It is in the link tree. Or you can go to twitch.tv/DirkThePanda. So, pretty much similar stuff. It looks like that. Pretend that's a link. Copy and paste that into your interwebs, you nerds, you dorks. And I call my followers on there Dorklandians. I'm not sure if I'm going to call subscribers here on YouTube Dorklandians, but I'm figuring that stuff out still. But yeah, you could be a Dorklandian, because it is... My Twitch channel is Dorklandia. My name is Dirk the Panda there for it, but I guess the community I have is Dorklandia. Maybe I should change my server to that. I mean, Dirk's Dorky server is a nice name, but yeah, that could be fun. Dorklandia. Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to get something out of the fridge or just chow down on my leftovers I was going to have tomorrow. I need to figure that out, but I want a lot of food. I'm thinking. I am thinking of bad ideas to eat somewhere. To run out and get food. Because I like to make bad decisions. But anyway, I really hope everybody enjoyed watching today and coming in whenever you did. And if you missed any parts, this will be a VOD. I was about to say obviously, but yeah. All of my Tennis Ace videos are VODs on the YouTube channel, so you can watch them afterwards. Well, yeah, technically, yeah, long story short. But yeah, ever since I started streaming these, they would always stay up still in the playlist. So you can check out the Tennis Ace playlist if you've missed any previous episodes, want to catch up, you know, rewatch, whatever you want to do. Anyway, I don't want to talk your all's ears off. Might as well get going while the going's good. So, y'all, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate y'all having here. In and out. Ooh, that's tempting. I was thinking, I hate to say this, but I was thinking McDonald's for the fries. Because they have this, like, fry, like, 20 pieces of chicken nuggets, 2 medium fries, 2 Big Macs. Yeah. I don't know if it comes with a drink, but yeah. In-N-Out could be good. I mean, it is going to be open at this time too, but tempting. Y'all are giving me bad ideas. There's also a donut place around this one 24/7 McDonald's that is also open 24/7 as a donut shop. And it could be a terrible idea. I'm going to get hella fat. But yes, thank you all for entertaining me, and thank you for letting me entertain you. Ooh, I like that. That's a catchy thing. I might have to use that in the future. Let's try it out for where. Hopefully I remember it. Thank you all for... No, thank you all for... Okay, now what's the order? Thank you... Thank you all for entertaining me, and thank you all for letting me entertain you. I guess that's a good order. Sorry, I am tricky. But yes, thank you all for letting me... damn it, I'm messing up the order. Take 5. Thank you all for entertaining me, and for letting me entertain you. Until next time.
Take care, folks.